I'm going to take a minute to talk to you guys about the upcoming incentives because we are really close. We are danger close to our incentives. Is what open yet, Shu? All right, I want to take a minute to let you all know about the current incentives we have for Day 4. Create for Kids 2021 did meet their goal. We're one of the last dogs left in the fight. We can get to $5,000 and have contributed $5,000 to Create for Kids, Save the Children campaign. It's a great campaign. It's a great organization. We're going to do our damnedest to get to $5,000, but our goal is $3,000. That's how much confidence I have in our community. I know we will get there because we're so close to our current goal. So let me talk to you about what we got going on today. We have currently we have a Last Guardians speedrun coming up next by SableDragonRook, as it says on your screen. Don't go touching that dial. That's going to be a really fun time with Trico. Time with Trico. There's an incentive to watch the ending cutscene so you can actually find out what happens to Trico. You can learn what happens to Trico at the end of the speedrun, because the speedrun doesn't show you what happens to Trico. You spend 3 hours with Trico learning and growing, and you never actually find out what happens. We have the next SpeedDoc video bid war, which is currently up. That is Donkey Kong Country 3 winning by over $200, $415. Jack 2 in second place, $260. We have a couple of other incentives for Banjo-Kazooie. There is a randomizer. If we meet that, Thunderstorm will do a randomizer after his run of Banjo-Kazooie. We have Crash Bandicoot Show the Secret Ending. That's a pretty cool one. We are $80 away from seeing the end of The Last Guardian. So if you want to see that, get those donations in. $80 away. We were originally at $200. We had $100 in donations that didn't go to any incentives, so we applied those to that. So it's down to $100. We're $80 away. Get those donations in. You have a little bit of time. Admittedly, you have some time. It's 3 hours. So get comfy, get your snacks. You heard Trico evolves into Sceptile. You are correct. Trico does in fact evolve into Sceptile. I am going to take a brief step away to make sure that everything is good and everything is working the way that it should be. But we are also about to announce the newest member of Team SpeedDocs in a special video that we have prepared to kick off weekend 2. Even I don't know who it is. And I made the video. So, don't go touching that dial. The video is going to be up really soon, and then we're going to jump right into and kick off Weekend 2, Day 4 of SDAT 2021. Stay tuned.
past the surface. Don't end up like that bitch at the bottom of your ocean. The water is safe. Reclaim your past. At the bottom of your ocean. At the bottom of the ocean. The bottom of the ocean. The bottom of the ocean. At the bottom of the ocean. The bottom of the ocean. What's at the bottom of your ocean? Water. Jump out of your tree. It's past the ocean. Don't end up like that bitch. The water is safe. Reclaim your past.
All right, everybody. The moment you've all been waiting for since yesterday when we announced it. I have a high opinion of myself. No, I'm kidding. Thank you to everybody who's made this marathon a success so far. We are going to play a special video we have prepared in the vein of all the other SDAT bumpers with a special announcement about who the newest member of the official member, you see, not a crew member, an official card-carrying SpeedDocs team member is. We're going to play that right now. When you're ready, Restreamer Guy. That's right, everybody. the newest member of Team Speed Docs. That's my train whistle. Is Quo.
Hello. I'm
Welcome.
official now.
You are official. That's right. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you feel any different than you did yesterday?
Incredibly more powerful. I feel the power coursing through me. My
This
veins
is true. Yeah.
growing.
Yeah. Now, you're incredibly powerful as the official 4th member of Speed Docs.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be good.
Yeah, there's an incentive. I'm gonna adjust it for Final Fantasy, where we have Team Speed Docs as one of the naming options. I'm gonna add you to Team Speed Docs and take you off Team Restream.
Oh.
Yeah. You're getting an upgrade to the superior team.
I miss Team Restream.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, Quo. We're looking forward to it. Quo has joined Speed Docs. He's been around from the beginning. He is the mastermind behind all of the events that you see. SDAT, Launch Party, ICAID, SDAT 2021. He worked on the original videos with us, the Minish Cap video. He's been around ever since. And now he's not in school anymore, so he has the time to help. So thank you, Quo. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. Who is the other member other than CJ, CC, and Quo? That is JR. JR is the money guy. He counts the money and makes sure that we don't go bankrupt. So it's our silent 4th partner. Tamar 711 in the chat. So, all right, don't go touching that dial. We're going to go take a pause for the cause, see a little message from SDAT, and hear a message from our charity. But when we come back, we'll be live with 3.5 hours of The Last Guardian. Stay tuned.
Hope you guys enjoy.
بدي أدخل الجامعة ونفسي أصير لما أكبر دكتورة جلدية.
بحب أكون مهندس معماري عشان أبني وطني من جديد.
అయితే ఎవరైనా భార్య భర్తను విడిపోతే వాళ్ళని కలపాలని కోరుకుంటున్నాను. I'm Carla Solier Vaidju.
في صعوبة للبوليس.
أكبر بدي يطلع دكتور أطفال.
دكتور أيوه. The boss of the company.
أنا بوصف حالي إني أنا مجتهد، أنا بثق بحالي وأنا متعلم.
All right, everyone, it's time. Kicking off weekend 2, day 4. That is going to be really hard to remember and say. At least with weekend 1, they went sequentially. But kicking off weekend 2, day 4, we have SableDragonRook. You can call her Sable, just don't call her late for dinner. Playing The Last Guardian. And you can tell us a little bit about that and what to expect from today's run, Sable.
You bet. Well, thanks for having me, first of all. Hello, everybody. I'm SableDragonRook. As CJ said, you can call me Sable. And this is The Last Guardian. We've got a decent amount of time to be in this run, so let's just get started, and I'll kind of explain things as we go. As long as we're ready on the timer, we can start in 3, 2, 1, go. So, this is The Last Guardian from the people who made Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, Team Ueda, Team Eco, Alright. We got our spear out of poor Trico's leg. This is Trico. He's our big feathery kind of friend. Not so much right now. And this first little part of the game is going to be primarily focused on making sure that he is not going to eat us. Because, you know, he's a big guy. And he's very upset. So we need to earn his trust. I'm going to be taking spears out of him. I'm going to be feeding him some schnackos to make him be my friend. And speaking of friends, we do have Mort on cam today. He is currently sleeping. He was out wandering around a little while ago, but he's decided to sleep. He is a blue-tongued skink. That's a lizard, despite what his teeny tiny arms would have you believe. So he'll be hanging out, since he is always my stream cam. Alright, so the things that we know, right? I'm in a cave, and I am a small boy with tattoos. That is the extent of our knowledge right now. Somehow I have woken up in this cave with this gigantic, kind of fluffy, kind of terrifying creature over here called Trico. And we don't know how we got here. And truth be told, at this moment, we don't know how we're gonna get out. So we're just, you know, we're kind of winging it with what we got. Creeks, what's the problem, dude? I'm sorry, did it not taste good enough? So that's how we're gonna start, it seems. Trico is deciding maybe he would like to be a little bit of a booger today. And that's very much the essence of what this entire run boils down to. It's me, a boy with middling controls at best, and a giant AI chicken weasel who does whatever he feels like. And we have to make him go fast.
It's a pretty decent analogy for life.
To be honest, I wish that my dog was as smart as Trico. My poor dog is like the dumbest thing that I've ever encountered.
I actually didn't know that Trico could spit the barrel out.
Yeah, good speedrunners. Look at me. Make sure that he doesn't, so you don't see it very often. He decided to be a little bit of a booger with that barrel. Like, usually he spits it out if you come too close. This time he just kind of decided to. So we've removed some spears. Hopefully he feels better. He keeps just cracking us right up against some walls. We've already got like 5 concussions and it's less than 5 minutes into the run. I'm sure we're fine. Now you may have noticed that after I gave him barrels, I actually took the time to take the collar off that he was wearing. You're supposed to do that after you wake up here. But we did it a little bit early because I was already on Trico anyway to remove the spear from his shoulder. And so we take the extra time to remove the collar then instead of now, when we would have to climb all the way up him again. So he's finally a friend. He's like, well, you fed me enough, I guess you love me. And so we have been adopted by our giant chicken weasel. Hashtag hardest trick in the game. Am I gonna get this? Probably not. It's unironically like super hard. Usurpering in the community has been working on making this more consistent and helping us to understand why this works. But it's not working, which is fine. I don't typically expect it to work. It's no big deal. We just are trying to grab that ledge up there, just so that we don't have to wait for Trico. Saves about 20 seconds, but not a big deal if we have to see his cute little face. So the things we know about Trico right now are boy. He likes these barrels. And he does whatever he wants, which means, you know, you can use barrels to get him where you want to go. And other than that, you just kind of hope he does what he needs to, and you use him as one giant moving platform. That'll change later. We'll eventually get to the point where we have a bit more control over him. But for now, we're just kind of clumsily stumbling along, trying to make this work. And now we've got our mirror. Found in a sarcophagus with 16 distinct parts. In a room with a puddle that is very similar to the one in Shadow of the Colossus. Suspicious. They are made by the same people, after all. So now that we've got this tool, we're going to be able to do some things. I will withhold what exactly those things are for the moment. So we show Trico this mirror, and he's like, hold up. What the heck is that? I don't like that. Something about it really gets his attention. It's some combination of, you know, fear and confusion and interest. He's all sorts of ways about that mirror as soon as he sees it. So it has some kind of significance to him. There's the collar that we took off of him earlier.
He goes that whole Pokemon episode that they had to ban in the US because it was giving the kids seizures.
Oh yeah, I
Whenever he
forgot
sees the
about
shield.
that.
Is that the Porygon one?
It must
They're
be.
like,
So butt lasers, right? The developers sat down and they thought, what can we do to make our chicken weasel even more impressive? Well, butt lasers. So, the mirror makes him shoot lightning out of his tail. Because why wouldn't it? Thankfully, that was the way out of the cave. And we are able to progress now that poor Trico has electrified the wall. You'll also see me frequently doing these resets for apparently, you know, no reason. But what's actually happening is Trico, he can be a little scenic sometimes. He can take his time. Hey buddy, step forward. And if I checkpoint reset, it will teleport Trico to me. So I don't need to wait for him to walk the whole distance to where I am. So we're going to be doing a lot of those checkpoint resets to avoid having to wait on Trico. He's just going to kind of teleport right to me. Did you realize that this was like 3D Neopets? You just spend the entire time giving your best friend some snacks.
I feel bad because my Neopet died.
I think everybody's Neopet died, if we're being real.
Well, I mean, like, now, they're all dead, right? There can't possibly have been one person that kept up the grind for 21 years, however long Neopets were. Alright, so I tried to shove that barrel in a corner, because Trico, of course, is gonna go after his snackos. And that's much faster than trying to convince him, hey Trico, you should totally jump up onto this ledge and help me out. We're just gonna get him to pay attention to that barrel and then use his head as a springboard to get up here on our own. Leave him behind. getting conflicting information from the chat about the status of Neopet's current whereabouts.
Like I would conjecture that there's like a solid 10 people in the world who have just been really dedicated to their Neopets, and they're probably still just doing great.
We really loved those tiny little, you know, LCD screens back in the early aughts, didn't we?
Alright, so we have made it out of this cave that we were trapped in at the beginning. Thought we were gonna have to leave Trico behind. He found some way to get out here. And he's looking up at this giant white tower. This white tower is at the very center of what turns out to be some kind of big crater that we're in. And Trico's like super into this tower. He is really paying attention to it. It's maybe upsetting him, maybe, you know, he's wanting to go there. It's hard to tell because he's a big chicken weasel. But you know, we figure, okay, Trico seems really interested in this tower. I guess that's something that we should pursue. And so the rest of the game, we are going to be trying to get as close to that white tower as possible. That's our long-term goal. Maybe if we can get up on top of it, we can find a way out of this crater. I am not going to do this the risky way. The reason that I'm not going to do this the risky way is actually a great opportunity to explain that if you've ever played Shadow of the Colossus, you probably remember that you have a stamina meter, right? And you have to pay attention to your stamina, and if you run out of stamina, you fall when you're holding on to things. In this game, we don't have that. And you might think, oh, that's awesome, you have unlimited stamina. Well, we also don't have a grab button. So the boy will grab basically as he sees fit. That's not as exciting as you might think, because his idea of when he should grab is a little weird. And so the odds of me leaping towards those chains and him just deciding, nah, were pretty high. So if I die during this run, that's almost guaranteed to be what happened. The boy just decided not to grab something with his butterfingers. Or Trico punches me out a window. That's also a possibility later on. He's only 80% beholden to me being his little human buddy. Hey dude! Where are ya? All the way down here? What are you on about? If I had been willing to play this a little riskier, Trico would have been further up on this pillar, not quite so close to me, and we wouldn't have to wait for him to turn around like this. Come on, you goob! Mort has departed, it seems. Eventually, he'll be back.
It is a challenge to wrangle both Mort and Trico.
This is true. I'm the one running the Mort cam and speedrunning at the same time. I found his butt.
Mort is like super moving.
Hey, buddy. I found you. Oh, and now he's leaving. Good. He literally just decided to go walk in a circle so that I would have to go chase him and then come back to exactly where he just was. So the only thing we can do with Trico right now is shout at him and hope that he walks in our general direction. Which is why that jump wasn't perhaps quite as close to the wall as I might have wanted, because I can't actually tell Trico what to do. And here's another example of, you know, Trico's on the floor. It's gonna take him a while to gear up and jump up here. Or I can just do this, and then ta-da, he'll be up here. I am unsure what Mort is doing, but his little legs seem to be having a problem with it. Alright, so the shape of this room is... Hi, lizard in a tree. Sure. The shape of this room is kind of a U shape. Very weird. So I'm just gonna avoid trying to guide Trico around this weird shape by getting him to hop over this wall and come down. And then we're gonna just pretend that this side doesn't exist. Normally he would want to run around because, you know, oh boy, we're outside for the first time. We're in the sunshine, this is so exciting. Focus. Good job, buddy. So instead we're just gonna reset. We're gonna make sure that he doesn't do any of that because that takes time. And just head over here. Also, he has a little necklace, a little badge. Mostly because I forgot to take it off. But it makes him look cute. You get it after beating the game. One time you can put it on him. Called the Badge of Honor, I think. Camera is gonna be perhaps the main antagonist of this run. They decided that the camera turns black if it gets stuck on something, so yay. Push that eyeball off. For some reason, something in Trico's past has happened that has made him just terrified of eyeball shapes. And so anytime he sees one of those, he's gonna be like, nah. Nah, fam. I'm not doing this. And he is gonna stop until I can find some way to get rid of the eyeball. That can be breaking it, you know, shattering it, because they're made of glass. I can push it off a cliff, like I just did. Hi, buddy. You got angry? Trico's been in a mood recently, which is very common with this run. Sometimes you'll get just a string of runs where Trico does something, like, inconvenient. Hey, buddy. There's a cutscene trigger here that he happened to walk over, and that's what made him angry. But he's feeling a little bit better. Hi, dude.
Do I have time to read a quick dono?
You bet.
We have a $5 donation from JR that says, I need to see that ending cutscene. Sable, what's up? Oh, hey, CJ. So, thank you, JR, for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. He also got DKC3 up to 420. Nice.
Very nice.
We are $75 away from seeing what happens to Trico. You're gonna fall in love with Trico by the end of it. I'm promising you. By the end of the speedrun, you're gonna be like, Trico, you know, what happened? Moonlight Bay and everything. Where happened to my Neopet? You're gonna be like, I want to know what happens. And then, you know, you'll wish you had donated that money. Those donations in.
I have never, ever met somebody who watched a run of The Last Guardian and by the end was like, I don't really care what happens. I promise, the scenes are totally worth it. Alright, so we're coming up onto a cage. This weird contraption kind of looks like a bird cage. It's pulsing with this eerie blue light. And the boy, you know, he's like, well, I guess this is the way we gotta go. There's no other way to go. Rico, on the other hand, he's maybe not so sure.
アティエテーボイナキナンオトリクーノ
Oh, Big Yawn, Mort, good job, buddy.
More doing Komodo hype in the chat.
So I am standing in a very specific spot. Yoink. We done got launched. The Trico just straight up ate us. That was not like a fake out or anything. He ate us. That cage, something about it just made him turn real aggressive. And he was not feeling great. Thankfully though, somehow, we're okay. We have more tattoos now. Which is hard to notice if you have not played this game like a ton, right? But we do have more tattoos than we started with.
Something tells me this little boy listens to a lot of Incubus.
Poor Trico, not feeling so good. We'll have to progress without him for a little bit.
アテイエタナキャンアグイマガクアテイエトゥンアヒノロ
And thankfully, perhaps the best thing that happens in this entire run, the mirror is gone. That thing that calls lightning from Trico's tail that I was wearing on my arm, it's gone. We don't know where it went. Thank goodness. Speedrunners very much do not like having the mirror because everything is bound to the circle button. Crouching, picking things up, using the mirror, grabbing levers, petting Trico, all of it is the circle button. So having one less thing to deal with on that button is very nice.
Agari etizi oisonichi I oroi o nozi awizi.
Mort be like, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
I'm surprised that he's as out and about as he is. He had the zoomies earlier. Figured he'd be tired.
What does Mort look like with the zoomies?
Twitchy, running all over the place, climbing things and then plopping off because his legs aren't long enough. So we have encountered armors. They're, oddly, one of the only things in this game that is referred to, like, in the in-game language, in a word that also is a word in Japanese. Like, the language in this game is made up, except for a couple of times. And the word for armors is yoroi, which is the same as it is in Japanese. They're gonna be essentially the antagonists, in addition to the camera, of course. We step into their light, they get angry. They are super dedicated about coming to catch me. Me specifically. Trico, they kinda don't care so much about. And I have no capacity to kill an armor without Trico's help. That's like 2% a lie, but don't worry about it. I can't kill armors without Trico's help, so whenever we get into a fight like this, I'm gonna need to rely on Trico to take them out for me. Oh boy. Buddy. Honey. Chill yourself out, okay? Hey dude, look! Oh, it's that spooky helmet. Trico hates armors, but in particular, what he really hates isn't so much the armors, it's their helmets. So I was able to lure Trico into this room with a helmet and use it to get up on this scaffolding. The game at this point wants me to pet Trico, which I also want to pet Trico, let's be real. But that takes time. It takes a long time for Trico to calm down when you pet him. And so by luring him into that room with a helmet and getting up on the scaffolding, we can proceed without petting him, without needing to calm him down and solving the puzzle in the intended way. And that saves time. Unfortunately, Trico remains angry, but, you know, it's a small price to pay, I suppose. And so that only serves to indicate, you know, how you're supposed to calm Trico down after a fight, because he's always going to get angry. But it's also the only time in the game where you're absolutely mandated to pet Trico. Any other time, and I think most casual runners don't know this, you can calm Trico down just by calling him a lot. You don't have to pet him in order to calm him down. And so that's what we're going to be doing for the rest of the run, because that's going to enable me to continue moving forward while simultaneously calming Trico down. Be free, buddy! He's so happy to be in the sun. This part is kind of notorious among speedrunners. This is not a cutscene, right? Trico's doing very poorly of it. This is a scripted event, so Trico has certain targets that he's programmed to go to. How he chooses to go to them is variable, and he is doing just such a bad job. So every time that a runner encounters this scene, it's going to go a little bit differently, based on how his AI chooses to do things. This time, his AI chose to wibble-wobble in a corner for like 30 seconds. And walk in front of the pillar. He's supposed to go behind it, but, you know. Trico is as Trico does. And so even within scenes... What are you doing? Even within scenes that the runner can't control, there can be big differences between two runs. He's looking up at the tower again. Every time he sees it, he gets a little upset.
I think we should stay away from the tower then. No? Because he's clearly bothered and perturbed.
He's bothered by it, and yet, you know, he kinda loves it. He's addicted to it at the same time. He can't sort his priorities out.
I love the faceplate. Sorry.
It's just, you know, sometimes you gotta go fast, and if that requires Boy to splat like a watermelon, then that's what's gotta happen. Sorry, dude, you know?
The Jackass theme plays in the background.
It's satisfying, you know, if the boy has been kind of a goober so far, it can be really satisfying to splat real quick. So that jug was full of the same stuff that's in the barrels. Obviously, Trico adores those barrels that he eats all the time, and he stuck his head in that hole to follow the scent, and he would not have done anything. He would never have moved again if we didn't close the jug, which is why we did everything we did. Gotta cut him off from the good, as it were. What are you doing? Trico, explain. Never in my life have I seen him face this direction. You're facing the wrong way, my man. I think we've got a weird Trico on our hands, which should lead to plenty of shenanigans. Where am I? Just caress the butt, I guess. I'm on the butt. There we go. Good job, we made it through the cave. That should not have been as hard as it was, dude. Hi. The auto grab, you know, perfect example. Kind of wanted to be on the ground. Rico is just, he's bopping and twisting and doing all sorts of stuff. Take a break for a little bit of bath time, but Rico notices something, and so we look up, and what do we see up here? That's another Trico. And our Trico doesn't seem particularly excited about that. He doesn't really want to make friends. Come on, buddy. Calm it down, my dude. Good job. What on earth did I get stuck on? Oh, whatever. Alright, so I'm gonna summon Trico to me again, and we're gonna actually kind of get into some of the meat of what makes this run. You ready, buddy? Alright, I'm gonna meet him before he goes up, so that I can be on his head and ready to jump by the time he makes it up here. Unfortunately, I will not be giving him any of these extra barrels. There's a separate category for that, affectionately referred to as chonk %. But no extra barrels for you today, buddy. This eyeball is already broken, so it's not really bothering him. We don't need to worry about it. And in fact, I'm gonna just basically proceed without him. He's gonna be very slowly following me, but it doesn't matter whether he's with me at the moment, because I can handle most of this stuff myself. Until now. Big fight here in Blue Room. But I'm gonna trust Trico. Maybe that's a bad decision. Are you ready, buddy? No hoppies, okay? Good job. So Trico's gonna take care of this fight on his own. Anytime that we can just leave Trico to his own devices and proceed, we're definitely gonna try to do that. So he's down there fighting. He's just having a swimming old time. Bye. We were fortunate that Trico didn't really bounce around too much at the beginning of the fight to make it very hard to grab onto those pillars. And so he's just gonna take care of that, and I'm gonna go on without him. Eventually he'll start following me. He's not gonna be anywhere close to me. That's fine. So we have a gate here with spikes at the bottom. This piece of wood is a pressure plate. I'm not heavy enough to activate it, but Trico is. When we reset here to call Trico to us, he's gonna activate that pressure plate. And that's gonna bring the gate down on his tail. We don't get to see any of that because, you know, I reset. But Trico's over there to the right with his poor tail trapped in the In the doorway. Those guys gave me, like, okay RNG for where they were standing. The poor Trico over here, he's trapped. He can't go and kick these guys' butts until I lift the door off of his tail. And then sometimes he kind of just changes his mind anyway and decides that he's not gonna fight, so we'll see. We'll see how lucky we get. Come on, buddy. Yeah, he's being a goober. I knew he would. That's just the kind of Trico we have today. Get thyself out of there, Trico. Freaks. You gotta do a fight, man. Thank you. The Trico's gonna take care of these guys. I don't mind their position in the hallway. I would prefer that they're as far back as they are, in fact. This Trico can really, really mess up if he gets too far forward in this hallway without finishing the fight. Alright, so we'll leave that to him. He seems to have it under control. Now let's see how long it takes him to notice that I'm down here. Hey buddy, you having fun? I'm sure he's just playing with helmets, because that's what he does. Buddy. Hey dude. Hi. But he's scripted to notice the guy at the end of this hallway and come just blasting through here. Let's see if he does that. Well, yes and no, buddy. Yes and no. Okay, good enough. Good enough. I'm gonna restart to avoid having to calm him down. And we are gonna progress to command skip. So, the intended thing to do in this section is to get into this room with Trico. And there's boxes and sort of stuff that he can interact with, but you realize, boy, I don't know how to get out of here. And you and Trico kind of both realize that at the same time. And then the narrator is like, well, you know, I've spent enough time with Trico that I think he might listen to me if I tell him what to do. And all of that, listening to the narrator, getting to that point, takes like a minute. And so we're gonna try to skip all of that. We're gonna try to get out of this room in a way that we're not supposed to get out. Because you're not supposed to get out until you learn that you can tell Trico what to do. So petting Trico makes him sit down. And I'm gonna pet him a couple times, sit him right on his butt. Eventually, I hope that he lifts his head up, and we're out. That was a good command skip. And just now the narrator is starting this little, you know, dialogue about how we can tell Trico what to do. But it doesn't matter because we're already out. We have already accomplished the thing he's trying to tell us to accomplish. And so in doing that, we saved, you know, 2 to 3 minutes of having to wait around and wait for the narrator to give us permission to tell Trico to do things. And now we can issue commands. So I can tell Trico what to do. Or, rather, I can suggest strongly what to do, and then Trico can decide if he feels like it. Giving a command does not mean that Trico is going to do the thing you ask. And the vast majority of improving your time in a Last Guardian speedrun is going to be understanding how to read Trico's body language, understanding when he has understood what you said, or whether he's confused, giving him the right commands at the right time, that you don't overwhelm him. And that's why I think a lot of casual players get frustrated with this game. You know, they're like, oh, Trico doesn't listen, it's so frustrating, I tell him what to do and he just doesn't do it. Usually it's because they give commands over and over and over again, and that kind of clogs his AI and makes it hard for him to listen to what you're saying. So mastering how to interact with Trico is the foundation of how to do this speedrun. Ideally, we give him one command, he listens, we move on. Good job, dude. I mean, that's fair though. The only command I ever give is please stop eating weird stuff you find. I have to tell Trico, please stop eating me. I've already been maunched once. So there was an example of kind of Trico being a little bit unusual. Doesn't usually take 3 jump commands to get him to understand to boost up here. But you read his body language, you realize he didn't understand, and then you can kind of go from there. Alright, we've got a decently long section coming up where I'm going to be either shimmying or trying to get Trico into the room just like before. It's a repeat of the previous room, there's just more armors. If I step into their light, obviously they're going to wake up, they're going to try to catch me. That's bad, let's not do that. So while I'm handling that, if we have any updates for the incentive or just some information about Save the Children in general, any of that would be welcome. Flat. I want to do this like the less aggressive way. This is the aggressive way. There's kind of a safer way that's slower that until pretty recently was still standard. Because this really just spoops me out. Alright, we're good. Alright, big fight. I think there's 6 armors in here? No, there's 8. And I'm not just running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm actively trying to position these armors in a place that's beneficial for Trico to help me fight them. Good job. Okay, because I am the way that I am a hashtag God gamer. I am gonna try a TAS-only strat. It's perhaps one of the most RTA viable TAS strats that we currently have, but mostly I'm just doing it for swag, if we're being real. So down below me, once I open this gate up for Trico, there's gonna be another eye. And so obviously I'm gonna need to get rid of that. Instead of climbing down the ladder to my right, I'm gonna miss. And that's why we don't do TAS only strats in run. I'm sure you can see what I was going for there. Trying to be cool, grab the ledge. Saves about 7 seconds, so totally worth it. That was sarcasm. I'm gonna try one more time. It's not like that hard. I want to give it another go. Alright, little boy. Now's your time to shine. Shine, little boy. Shine! Fine, we'll do it as intended. That was your opportunity for fame and fortune, little boy. You missed it. Twice. Butterfingers, right? Like, I don't have a grab button, so if he just decides not to grab the ledge, that's that. Alright. We'll go down the stupid ladder. Little troll. Alright. Hey, we're down here! First try! Alright, the eyeball's gone so we can reset and get Trico in here. So Trico's gonna handle these next couple jumps. He's a smart chicken weasel, so I'm gonna leave him to that and try to take these spears out. Not only because I love him, but because later on we're gonna encounter a spear check. The game is gonna check how many spears Trico has in him, and if he has too many, we're not gonna be able to progress. So we gotta make sure that we're taking care of our boy from time to time as he accumulates spears from fighting. Also, fun fact, you can rub his blood away. So we'll clean him up a little bit. Typically we wouldn't do that in a run because, as I said before, petting Trico makes him sit down. And so that would interrupt what he's doing. But since he's kind of auto-scrolling at the moment, we can do that without consequences. Well, thanks for listening, dude. On my run on Tuesday, he spent like a minute just staring into the void here. Way to go. Alright, he's doing a good job. He's listening well. At least in this section. But take note, there's a chain over here. We're gonna be messing with that in a second. Okay. Well, I survived. I survived that fall, okay? Never in my life has that happened to me before, where the boy just like slipped off the edge. Hi! Come down here. We have to do this again because the boy is a goober.
Let's go into the animation.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do not appreciate how the boy is just slipping and sliding around like a greased baby seal. That could that could impact us later. We shall see. This game is full of memes, so we're kind of used to it as runners. Like that. Come on, boy. That was supposed to be a fall damage cancel. Instead it was a break your leg kind of day. Fall damage cancel, boy. Why will he not? Fine, we'll just walk it off. It can definitely be finicky. You're trying to get the boy to trigger his grab animation in the middle of a fall on top of that pillar. Because that will interrupt his momentum, right? And you won't get this broken leg. But you know, he breaks his leg all the time and then 5 seconds later he's fine, so... He's basically Wolverine. That's Wolverine, right? The heals.
For a quick donation.
Yep.
Yeah, Wolverine is the one that heals, yeah. We have a $10 donation from Anonymous. How does Trico fly with those little wings?
Trico don't fly with those little wings, is the answer. He flip-flaps a little bit, but doesn't really get him into the air. You want some schnackos, buddy?
He kind of flies like how Flappy Bird flew.
Yeah.
You remember Flappy Bird?
Uh-huh. Here you go, buddy. So that chain is connected to this gate, which means that by putting a pot of food on the bottom of the chain, I can get Trico to yank on it and start moving this gate. However, obviously I'm gonna need to get Trico through this with me. It hit me. That's the first time it's ever hit me. I wondered if it was possible. Oh, I feel so accomplished. Trico slammed a door right on my face. Anyway, we need to get Trico through this door too. So we're gonna take this roly-poly thing, who knows what this is. I call it an axle. We're gonna wedge it underneath the door. Assuming that Trico decides to still be cooperative and not, you know, a goober as he is wont to do. Right, I like where that landed. That is pretty decent. So always expected, Trico is gonna drop that thing, that's fine. Because he, for some reason, just adores this piece of machinery that I have in my hands. Hey buddy, stop. Stop it. Thank you. Focus on that, please. Thanks. The Trico got a little distracted, you know. He was concerned about why I was on this side and why I have this giant thingy. But we got him refocused on the jug. You ready, my man? Here we go. Big pull. Yeah. Well, a little bit bigger. A little bigger. One more. There you go. Good job. So if we are lucky... Here we go. Good job. He will get unfocused from that with just a very carefully timed call. The boy will proceed to not grab Trico. And we can get him through the door. Sometimes it's real hard to get him unfocused from that piece of whatever that is. Axle, whatever. Oh, we're doing leggy. That's what we feel like today. Leggy is bad. Leggy means Trico sits here for a little while. When he sticks his leg up in the air like that. But that's okay. We're up here. And we got eyeballs. So of course he's going to be a little bit upset. I am going to try to hit one of these in the middle of the cutscene. The boy is going to miss horrifically. It's always nice if you can get that in the middle of the cutscene. Sometimes the boy just doesn't quite turn hard enough. There you go. You feel better? Now there is absolutely nothing I can do to get Trico to stop paying attention to these pieces. Sometimes he'll be here for a minute, sometimes he'll be here for 10 seconds. There's no way to know. Hey buddy. Good job, dude. That was very fast. That's very true. Even if you do manage to get the boy lined up correctly in that cutscene to throw the helmet at the glass, sometimes it just bounces off. Doesn't, like, actually break it, because that's what this game is. Are you surprised? There's an eyeball on top of this cart, so we gotta get rid of this before Trico's gonna help me. But as the cart falls, it gets stuck. I know where to stand because, you know, obviously once you know, you're fine. You ready to go? I'm gonna need some help, my dude. Why are you confused? This way, you goob. Yeah. Trico, we've done this hundreds of times, honey. You got this. Now, if he decides he's being grumpy today, he'll just kind of leave me behind. Nah, he's being a good boy. This was the demo area. So if you played the Last Guardian demo when it was first announced, this is the part that you played. Thank you, my friend. Now is a great time to point out that those are not guaranteed. Anytime that Trico wants to help you, grab you, you know, assist you, things like that, you are not guaranteed to have that happen. Trico can miss, he can try to grab you and you just kind of whiff and you fall to your death. All sorts. Because again, the calculation is being done in real time in the game, it's not a cutscene. Which means that Trico can mess up. So just like before, same thing happens. You know, this has an eyeball, we get rid of it. That thing gets stuck again, breaks the platform again, and I'm in trouble. It's so funny to miss this one, because you have this dramatic slow-mo and then you miss Trico's tail and it resumes like normal speed and you just go like woof, right past his tail to your death. So we do need to be sort of quick. As a couple people in chat are aware, Trico can die here. If you're not fast enough, he will fall and you'll both die. So we gotta give him something to grab hold of. If you want to run this game, but the 3.5 hours-ish that it takes to run any percent intimidates you, run bad ending, which ends right here when you let Trico fall. Because you are a heartless monster. So I'm already well off into the distance by the time that cutscene ends, since we can move during the majority of... You know, I say cutscenes, they're not. But you know what I mean. Actual cutscenes are skippable. There's an eyeball above me. And this guy over here has a spear. He has a spear specifically because I reset, and that's why I reset. Trico wasn't with me, and I could have hopped into this room and started solving all these puzzles and stuff on my own. But I reset to call Trico towards me, because if I chose to come into this room just on my own, that second guy would have had a sword, and he would have come after me and stopped me from getting up on this platform. By resetting and making sure Trico's standing at the front of the room, that guy suddenly has a spear instead, and he goes after Trico and not me, which means that I can solve this puzzle uninterrupted. Now that that's broken, Trico can come in and start wreaking havoc as he does. Are you done already, buddy? Were you a good murder machine? Good job. Took out those guys pretty fast. Barf! The camera. It's just spinny. Ugh. So we got this big eyeball over here. Obviously that's gonna really upset Trico. Calm down, my dude.
Is there ever any like background or lore information offered about who built any of this stuff?
Not really. It's all just a big mystery. If you have played... Honey, calm down. This way. If you've played Eco, you'll notice that this part that we're actually just getting to looks quite a lot like the end area of Eco. So maybe it's, you know, just the remnants of previous civilizations. But who built the eyes and why the Tricos don't like them, all that sort of stuff, we never really get an answer for. And like, what are these cages for? They're too big to be just for a single person, but they're too small to be for a Trico.
It's like when you go to a hoarder's house and it's like, why do you have 40 bird cages?
They might come in handy, that's why.
Yeah, what about these, all the complete volumes of Time magazine from the 90s? Just giant cinder block mountains.
So we gotta get rid of this eyeball, right? Because poor Trico over here, he's distressed. This eyeball has holes in it, so the intended means of solving it is to climb up it, go through the holes, go, you know, across the back surface of it, go through another hole, come out the front, and eventually that takes you up to the top. Hopefully, we're not gonna do any of that, because we are gonna stand right here. Stand. You goober. It can be hard to get this to work because simple things like you see the eye is moving very slightly from right to left, or the wind shaking it, can make it so that the jump doesn't quite line up. But you're not supposed to be able to stand on this thing, and so we're using it, there we go, to skip straight from the beginning of the puzzle to the end. Because of course, this game says, you know what, on top of the AI for your speedrun, why don't we throw in some wind physics? Because why not? And insofar as I can say that this game is like Dark Souls, if you can see it, we will probably go there. So a lot of what we see, like those towers over there in the distance, we will be there shortly. You can see the eyeballs going all the way up. Actually, interestingly enough, that is both a place that we will be soon and a place that we will be about 2 hours from now. Good job, Trico. Without that eyeball, he finally faced his fears and came across here. Why are you doing what you're doing? Honey? This way. You gonna jump butt first? Is that the plan? He's got this. He's a good guy. This area down here, in that Colosseum looking thing, is where we were standing earlier, where Trico took a bath, and the other Trico was up on these pillars. So we've been down there. Everything's connected. Gotta get rid of this for our big feathery friend. Come on. In classic Ueda fashion, Trico breaks everything. And now he's kind of stuck on a pillar and he's like, oh boy, I don't really know what to do now. So we gotta find some way to get Trico off of this precarious pillar that he's hanging onto over here. Understanding the map of the game can be hard because it's vertical too, right? It's not quite like Shadow of the Colossus where it's mostly just flat land. A lot of what you do is vertical. Hi buddy. You stuck? We're shimmying down here instead of just walking across this platform because there was a cutscene there. And so we walked around the trigger so we didn't have to watch it. The cutscene was basically just looking back at Trico and being like, well, you're stuck, aren't you? No! Oh, you goober. So hey, I got caught by armor. You get to see what happens. They catch me. He's trying to actually bring me down to a blue door. Oh, little boy. Just get. Anywhere that there's armors, there's gonna be a blue door. And that's their, like, objective number one. Take the little boy through the blue door. And so they're casting, like, sigils on me that resonate with my tattoos whenever they catch me. And I have to break through them by button mashing. If I don't break through them fast enough, see, there's the door. He was trying to take me down there. That'll be a game over if we end up being taken through a door. At any point, those armors can cast, like, long-distance sigils at me as well. And if enough of those accumulate, they'll stop my button presses from counting, so you have to kind of dispel them before you can do things again. And here's a blue door right next to this guy, so we're gonna try to just zip right in front of him. Now, what's supposed to happen? There's a drawbridge over here, see it? We need to get over there and lower it for Trico. I'm gonna do this very differently than what you are supposed to do. What you're supposed to do is get over there, briefly cling on to something, you know, and Trico's gonna see you clinging and be like, oh no, my human, I have to go save him. And so you wait for Trico to hop over, he dangles from that, and then you land on him. I'm not gonna do any of that, hopefully. Hey, we're done with drawbridge. We actually complete this so fast that the game has to spawn Trico on the drawbridge because we're too far ahead. So it can't play any of the cutscene about Trico being like, oh no, my human, and jumping over and trying to save you. It just puts Trico on the drawbridge. Because you're too fast. What are you doing? Boy, calm it down. So we didn't take the time to actually stay out there and find this out, but Trico is chilling outside the room right now. And he's sitting down, and he's like, look, I've been through a lot today. Can I have a snack? Like, I'm not gonna move until you give me a snack. So he's waiting out there for us to bring him a barrel. Thankfully, there's one in here. You're supposed to solve this puzzle by throwing this barrel from platform to platform and hoping that it doesn't roll off. But we're just gonna step up like this and skip the entire puzzle. And so just now, the game is giving us the indication that Trico needs food when we've already gone to get it. Hi, buddy. You peeking? Here you go.
The forbidden snacko, the tasty barrel.
We'll get some indication of what's in those barrels, those tasty schnackos, later on in the game. Come on, dude.
If I could take a quick second to interrupt. I just want to let everybody know we are really close to that incentive. We are, if it'll pull up the big tab, we are $65 away. If no one can do that math in their head, 13 people donated $5, we would crush that incentive and get to see what happens to Trico. So, still have some time. You have some time to count the pennies in the ashtray. Another 2 hours and change. Just letting y'all know. We're raising money for Save the Children, and $5 goes a long way.
That's right. It goes to a good cause, and whoa, you get to see the conclusion of Trico's story. This run ends at a time when you just begin to have like 50 questions and 0 answers. I promise you that the cutscenes are very worth watching. They're perhaps one of the best parts of the game. Get your butt up there, buddy. Alright, I understand. Gotta fuse into the wall for a little while. I feel ya. He's being a little complainy. Are you gonna do what I ask? We shall see. Good job, dude. Alright. Come on. Come on, we got places to go. Get going. Ah, he's not gonna do it. Sometimes, if you are very, very lucky, you can skip this cutscene. It hasn't happened to me in, geez, like 50 or 60 runs at this point. It's quite rare. But, you know, gotta give it the old try every time. So somewhere off in the distance, we've got that other Trico that we saw earlier, hanging around. You may also have noticed, by the way, that at the beginning of the game, Trico's horns were broken, and they're starting to grow back. And what are you doing? There you go. They're just little nubbins right now, but they're coming back. Alright, we got a big ol' eyeball. That's what's disturbing him. The intended solution is to climb on his tail down to the beginning of this rope. Ain't nobody got time for that. Alright.
I can jump in.
Yep, you do it.
Sorry. We have a $15 donation from Anonymous that says, here's $15 for that chicken weasel.
Yay. Thank you.
So get those in, and I will, if you donate, I will blow the train whistle away from the mic so as to not blow out Sable's ears. But yes, get those donos in, I will blow the train whistle.
We're getting closer. Ever closer to that cutscene incentive.
We are $50 away.
The poor Trico is just chilling over here. You know, having a rough time. He's not really sure where he wants to be in relation to that eyeball. And I'm gonna head up here and try to knock it down for him. Now, the interesting thing, right, is that imagine you're a little boy and you're suspended, I don't know, half a mile above the ground, and you're walking on a rope. You're probably gonna go pretty slow, take it pretty steady, you know, arms out to the side, real chill like. Well, the boy wants to do that too, but that takes time. So instead, we're just gonna do this. We're gonna do rope run. As long as I keep interrupting his animation before he realizes that he's on a rope and not on solid ground, he will continue to run. And in this way we can avoid the very long animation of him with his arms out to the side being like, oh god, please don't let me fall.
Well, this is activating a lot of people's vertigo.
Alright, and that jump to Trico just there, if Sancho Panda is still in chat, that is called the Panda Plummet in his honor because he discovered it. And it is significantly faster than what we used to do, which was reset up there and then kind of meet Trico once he hopped over here. It's a little death-defying, but definitely a very good strat for all the terror that it inspires. So these were the towers earlier on. Remember, we were, if we can see it, over. Hi, Trico. Look at that good face. Over there, you can see the cages in the distance where we were not that long ago. These were the towers that we were looking at that I said we're gonna be there in a little while. It's Dark Souls. We've got another eyeball. Of course, Trico's very upset. We've got to go take care of this one for him as well. Thank goodness there's always a solution to every one of these puzzles. Funny how that works. So there's that eyeball you can see down below me that he's very obsessed with. You can also see the white tower there in the distance. So we're getting closer. Come on, dude. What are you looking at? I'm gonna give him just a minute of extra time there to make sure that he has a good chance of actually catching me. Help? Help, Trico! Come on, buddy! Thank you. Alright, we made it. In terms of times that Trico can catch you from a fall like that, they only get spookier. So like the first one that we did, he can definitely miss, but it's not super common for him to miss. This one, definitely, he's known to miss a lot more frequently. This is kind of 50% an auto-scroller, so while he's working on this, I'm gonna clean him up a little bit. Get this blood off of his feathers. There you go, buddy. Is that better? If I fall on account of trying to clean the blood off of your feathers, buddy, I'm gonna be a little disgruntled. There you go. Oh, I got to sneeze. Oh, now that I said that, it's gone! Why have I done this? Ugh.
This is the darkest timeline.
I should never ever like warn people that I'm gonna sneeze, because every single time that I do it on stream, I don't sneeze afterwards. And then I just spend the rest of the day feeling like I have a sneeze hidden behind my eyeballs. There, I think he's mostly cleaned up. I don't think we're gonna quite have time for this one. But we'll try. We'll try for our best boy.
Alright, I'm asking everybody, Sable included in chat, would you rather have a Trico-sized Morty or a Morty-sized Trico?
So, you gotta remember, right? Mort, stubby little legs, doesn't really lift himself off the ground when he walks. Imagine that. Imagine like a big thick tube sock filled with rice that was the size of Trico, that would just wreak utter havoc anywhere that it went.
He'd be like a stretch Hummer.
He'd be a force of destruction. What would he eat?
Definitely don't want that living in the sewer, you know? Oh, he would still eat eggs. He would just require, like...
Ostrich eggs?
He would require a lot of eggs. He'd have to live on, like, a chicken farm or something.
Well, then he would just get swole like Gaston for eating like 5 dozen eggs.
No one. Did I ever tell you the time that they tried to cast me as the closet?
I think you did. And that You must have, because then I told you about the time that they cast me as Camel Attendant 4.
I didn't even. They were like, "Hey, we want to cast you as the wardrobe." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm pretty sure that she has a song and that it's a lady part. They're like, "Yeah, no. We have a short girl who is going to be the actual wardrobe. You're going to be the physical wardrobe. You're going to be the box, and you're going to walk the wardrobe around."
So you're like a doppelganger of the actual person.
I'm like wearing all black and a ski mask, like moving this closet on wheels around, doing the choreography, but looking into the back of a wardrobe the entire time, while there's a short lady in the wardrobe with her head peeking out of the top.
See, I was Camel Attendant number 4, which meant that in the Christmas play, where the inn didn't have enough room, you know, the whole nativity thing, my only line was valet camel hitching. And that was it.
In my 3rd grade production of the story of the first Thanksgiving, I was King George, and my mom made my costume. Shout out to Mom. And I looked awesome. Everyone else's costumes were made out of like brown paper bags. And it was very fitting, you know, the dichotomy between the King of England and all of the, you know, pilgrims and whatnot.
I think the fact that you made me remember Camel Attendant number 4 was the reason that I just did every one of these skips perfectly. Like, I was only like half paying attention for a second, and so I actually did all of them well. We did Vine Skip, which was when I jumped from up where Trico was down to grab those vines, instead of riding Trico down the way that you're supposed to. The reason that that's typically challenging, can you reach that, buddy? Nah. Is because, good try. The game's idea of how far you need to fall in order to die, and how far you need to fall in order to grab those vines, is basically the exact same thing. So sometimes the game gives you credit for dying first, and sometimes it gives you credit for grabbing the vines first. We got it first try, which is phenomenal. It's the best it's been in quite a while. And then we did another barrel skip. It was another puzzle where, you know, Trico's like, I'm not gonna move unless you feed me, because I'm a picky little chicken weasel. And you're supposed to throw the barrel up onto slopes and like get up there and stop it before it rolls off, and do that a couple times. And instead we just walked right to the end of the puzzle. And both of those went really well.
You know, in the spirit of talking about theater and knowing that if you rant about the theater, that you will do every trick in the run, amazing first try, could you regale because it is SDAT, you know, we are known for being colorful. Could you regale the chat with your rant about cats?
So, I used to hate the musical Cats, okay? Like the actual musical, not this stupid movie that came out recently. And then I watched enough people complain about Cats that I kind of started to like Cats. And I'm a little bit ashamed of it. But then I watched the movie. The one with Taylor Swift, is it? Where people's faces are like weirdly copy-pasted onto fuzzy cat bodies. Mm-hmm. And it's just not, it's not right. It's not right. Everything that was, now I understand, Cats, the musical, is like a psychedelic trip. I get it. But they took everything that made the musical, like, itself, and just replaced it with, hey, here's Taylor Swift, cool. And when I'm in a bad mood, I just love to sit and watch YouTube videos of people just tearing the Cats movie to shreds. It's lovely. It's one of my favorite things to do. Because characters don't do what they're supposed to do. It's not that hard. This cat likes trains. this cat likes eating things. It's not that hard to just like do that, and then they didn't. Instead they have like a fat cat that's eating child actor cockroaches. It's like the weirdest thing.
The big cockroaches, maybe not the most interesting or advised direction, right?
Well, and they were
Maybe
the
they
same.
could have skipped that out.
They were the same size as the mice. So either those are
Yeah.
tiny, tiny mice or gigantic, disgusting cockroaches. There's no in between.
They did Gandalf really dirty.
I choked on a peanut, sorry. I'm like snacking on peanuts in the middle of the run as well.
It's fine. We're okay. I'm snacking on some stuff too. I mean, the thing about cats, for people that haven't seen it, it's not a incredibly complex
No,
production.
no. Like I said, it's this cat likes trains, this cat likes to eat things. You know, this cat likes to be picky. Like, that's it. Trico is just being a goober, by the way. These armor guys have mini eyeballs that are shields that upset Trico, and so I need to make sure they don't pick them up. Trico has shoved this guy into a corner where he, like, can't get to him. So that's what life is like right now. Buddy, you could have thank you. For Pete's sake. So that was a thing. I was desperately searching.
What happened to that moment?
I was desperately searching for some way to tie in Anybody Want a Peanut from Princess Bride. And then Trico just wedged that guy in the corner and completely threw off my groove.
Isn't the fact that you can't understand a single word that Andre the Giant says at all the most endearing part about his character?
I was literally just gonna use the word endearing. You're exactly right.
Anybody want a peanut?
I'm so sad because, okay, apparently, according to my husband, I'm in like the Stone Ages. I still have DVDs instead of Blu-rays. But my DVD of The Princess Bride is scratched, and so the section with the ROUSs doesn't work, and it makes me real sad.
Don't the PS4 and the PS5 have a built-in Blu-ray player?
I think so. Probably.
I'm gonna send you a VHS tape.
I still have my VHSs. I don't have a VCR anymore, but let's not pay attention to that.
You're very crafty. I'm sure you'll be able to find a VCR.
Alright, we've made it from one section of nonsense into another. Trico has now found another one of these barrels that enchants him so. We gotta get rid of this before he'll listen to a word that I say.
Barrel Rider. That was a really bad Smaug impression. I apologize.
Smaug was the only good part of those, let's be real.
The video of Benedict Cumberbatch on his belly catwalking in the green screen room.
Okay, so I've shifted the tracks so that now the barrel jug thing will go straight instead of off to the side to a dead end. Hopefully we can get this out of Trico's life and get him refocused on getting us the heck out of here. In typical Ueda fashion, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. So now we're down here. Trico's up there. We need to find a way to have him help me out of this. This puzzle can be a real weirdo. Step number 1. We gotta get Trico to break the floor. Because right now, the place where I fell through is filled up, right? With the jug that came down after me and flipped over. So I gotta get Trico to break the floor so there's a hole so he can see me. Then we can start maybe communicating. How generous is the game gonna be? Because Trico's walking around up here, we just need the game to give him credit for walking on the right part of the floor. Hey, don't be ashamed of your jokes. Don't be ashamed of your jokes. If people leave, that's just because they don't have a good sense of humor.
I agree. I'm actually still hung up on The Hobbit. You know the worst part about The Hobbit? While we wait for Trico to break the floor? The pig. The dwarf riding the pig.
I have no recollection of this.
Like the final and the battle.
Oh, right. See, the problem with that...
Under the mountain.
The problem with that is that, see, my brain, in order to help me cope with having seen that movie, had completely erased that from my memory. And now it's back. And I blame you.
So there's the dwarf king riding the pig, and neither of them are real. And like, you know, this is The Hobbit. This is, you know, a billion-dollar operation, surely. And I'm sitting there in the theater like, I don't believe this effect now. You know, it's fine if you look back at some of the effects and you're like, I don't believe this effect, you know, in hindsight.
Sure.
I don't believe it now. I'm watching it.
You know, things like the Chronicles of Narnia hold up better, I feel like. As far as, you know, believability, like, some of the fantasy effects in those still look pretty decent.
The worst effect in the original Lord of the Rings is like the Plantier.
Oh, I should have tried to get these guys not to wake up. Oh well. I don't know if Sancho's still here. I'm gonna try to do the Sancho step just for swag. So Trico's out here fighting, right? We got him to drop his tail down to us and we made it out of the water. So now he's out here fighting and then he's, wow, very quickly already realizing, hey, you know what? I'm hungry. And I need you to bring me more food before you, before you proceed. Oh, come on! We got Sancho step and then it didn't work. Fine. So I went and got food for him. I was trying to be swaggy and show off Sancho Panda's alternate way to get this barrel up on top. But alas, I have been foiled. You got that, buddy? Good job. Just couldn't quite.
Trico's eyes scare me sometimes.
I mean, he's kind of terrifying, and he will eat you. Clearly. I just couldn't
it's a very
quite.
thin line
Yeah.
between eating us and helping us.
I couldn't quite clinch the victory in that barrel skip thing. So sad. Can't have nice things. Also, can we just like take a hot second to shout out Mort, who has decided to just stay in the same place? This is great. I haven't had to chase him around, yeah. I'm gonna get up and like stretch my legs later in the run, and I'm sure that'll wake him up. Alright, so we got the white tower over here again. We're getting closer by the minute. But I need to get Trico to me. Here, buddy, let's go. Rico breaks everything, as always.
I love all the running in place that he ends up doing. It's like, oh no, the world's running, falling around me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2.
Just his little tippy taps. I was not sure, by the way, that Trico was gonna catch me. Like, he waited a long time.
He can decide not to catch you there?
Oh, absolutely. He can decide
That's
not to.
awful.
He can decide not to catch me whenever he darn well feels like it.
I guess I've just never seen him not do it, so I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
So I'm gonna try to set up for a little glitch here. We've got some armors coming up, and they're gonna start spawning as soon as I touch that little bridge thing down there. So what I'm gonna do is Trico. Go. As soon as I touch down, hopefully, we're gonna reset immediately. The moment that the boy makes collision with that. And hopefully, yes, we will have only one of the 4 armors that's supposed to be in here. There's supposed to be an armor inside every one of these alcoves. Instead, we only have this one at the end because they start spawning from this side of the room. And so if you interrupt that load, like that load in of all the armors, by resetting before all of it is done, not all of them will spawn. And so we get a fight with 1 armor instead of a fight with 4, which is naturally much faster. I'm gonna drag him down onto the ground and try to make it easier for Trico to take care of him. Plus, we don't get a guy holding that shield, which makes the fight significantly easier. The downside, of course, is that the game still thinks that there are 4 armors, and only one of them has died. So, it's gonna keep playing the battle music until the other 3 die. Obviously, they're not going to, because they don't exist. So we're gonna be dealing with the battle music for some time. Rico, honey, why are you confused, babe? This. There you go. So we glitched it out a little bit. This is basically the only glitch in the entire run. Worth noting that another reason that we don't like the eyeball shields is because, you know, they're eyeballs. That means that Trico's afraid of them. He's gonna stop fighting for as long as he sees one. And for some reason, I really don't think that it was intentional. If Trico sees an eyeball shield, and it actually, you know, he sees it for long enough that it stops him from fighting, he'll be more pacifist for the rest of the run. So that means he's more likely to hit armors and not actually kill them for the rest of the run. So it's very important to make sure that he doesn't see those. Would you trust your dog to catapult you somewhere? Like, if you were in the boys' situation, would you trust your dog, or would you just be like, no, I'm just staying here, this is where we die? Because I feel like...
Would I trust Blue to catapult me into the air?
Yes, into the ceiling,
No.
specifically.
I know that my dog does that move where she like jumps up and down like she's doing CPR and like just laying on her front paws over and over again. So I'm like, I can see my dog not fully grasping what she did and just constantly do that. Do you trust your dog?
Heck no. My dog is real dumb and kind of a jerk, so. For those who don't know my dog, his name is Bryce, and he's a 17-year-old Cheagle, which is a Beagle Chihuahua. Somehow he's made it to the ripe old age of 17, I don't understand. And he's just so grumpy in his old age.
He's a Beagle Chihuahua?
He sure is.
I don't know why I always thought you had this golden retriever that was like limping around as a 17-year-old. The idea of you having like all these lizards and then having a Cheagle is it's a lot funnier.
Oh good, they're here to mow the yard directly out the window about 4 feet from me. Sorry. Maybe you can hear it. They'll be gone.
The Gestapo is here.
They'll be gone in like 10 minutes.
Are they speedrunning your yard or you have a small yard?
No, they're speedrunning the yard. They do not spend any second longer than they have to here. 'Cause we have like an acre. And boy, they get it done in like 5 minutes.
Didn't you live in like a...
I wish we had a moat. Oh, you know what? I wish we had a moat and I would fill it with like a bunch of aquatic lizards.
You'd have like a koi pond, but instead it's
yes.
like
Exactly.
What are those things that people love? They have the weird name. Zoddles?
Axolotls?
Yeah, there you go. That was close.
They're so cute. Come on, Turriker.
Digging a moat and filling it with water lizards sounds like a good way to feed the local birds.
You just have to choose water lizards that are big enough that the local birds feed them.
Alright, next up is her new Komodo dragon. It's a guard Komodo dragon.
I don't know if you can, but if you can hear the lawnmower, I promise he'll be gone in like a couple minutes.
It's adding pizzazz to the stream, so I'll allow it. You know, it's like a little like change in pace while we're underwater. It adds some aquatic ambiance. Eh? Yeah, get it?
Hi again. Alright, so
the
poor...
B-2 bomber flying overhead.
yeah. So poor Trico, you know, he's kind of afraid of water, but he doesn't really have a choice. We have to do these water puzzles. And he's doing alright. He's not so afraid of water now that he knows me and he trusts me. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he pooped, which I always keep an eye out for in this section of the game, just in case. So the wave that he creates by jumping in the water is what helps me solve this puzzle, and I love that. I love that solution. It's so creative. It was so frustrating the first time that I played this game, but I adore it. Come here. Don't you go away. Alright. So we got Trico and me, two buddies having a swim. Trico's obviously got pretty big lungs, because he's a pretty big boy. I, on the other hand, not so much. Oh, sorry, Mort. Is the mower waking you up? I'm so sorry. Yeah, Trico's just... he's going. He's having a time. And we don't really have lungs that are that big, so... bye.
アタミセターラナオートツリコーノイラカジアーラサイイニアジアウィ
So now we are in a section of the game where Trico, you know, he's just gone. We have no idea where he went. Somehow we floated up into this place, and we are alone. This is the part of the run that, like, breaks people. This is Cage Puzzle, where world records come to die. So hopefully we have... yeah, I would even just settle for a kind of average-ish cage puzzle. That would be fine with me. But we'll see once we get up there. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I tell myself I'm not gonna do it. There's a cool strat here that you use in the task, and I'm not gonna do it. Because it went so well for me last time when I tried to show off a task strat in this stream. They're just making, like, quadruply sure to get the grass right by the window this time, of course. But alright, we're heading up. We're desperately trying to find Trico. There's a feather down there. A bloody feather. So we're following the Trico trail, as it were. Trying to find our buddy. And it's kind of fair, right? If you have a tiny little human on your back, you're probably not going to notice if he isn't on your back anymore. All the same, there's more feathers. I imagine Trico was pretty upset when he popped out wherever it is that he popped out at. And was like, oh no, I've lost my human. Where's my child? Alright, we got a tail here. Following the Trico trail. You're supposed to climb the tail, but again, you know, speed run. So that's not our Trico. That is the other Trico that we have encountered a couple times so far. The one that slapped our Trico right in the face and sent him back down to where we did Vine Skip. I would really adore not, thank you, grabbing this other Trico. So she's grumpy. She seems to just basically hate everything. And we gotta stay as far away from her as possible. She's chasing me. You can't really see right now, but she's definitely chasing me. She's very close. So we done got bamboozled. And we have not located our Trico at all. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Oh, that was a weird thing for her to do. Not gonna complain. So she can definitely hit you. She'll keep you stuck in those caves forever if you're unlucky and don't really know how to wrangle her. But she'll slap you right in the face and bite you and all sorts of things. She's very mean. we needed her help in the end to get out of here. And now hopefully we can leave, find our Trico, be on our way. We're still recovering from... What are you doing? Get? We're still recovering from her hitting us and knocking us back down. We're trying to make our way back up toward the White Tower again. A minor setback. Bye! Hi, lawnmower. It's been a solid 2 minutes since I saw you last. So she has been summoned. Her horns were resonating with whatever this mystical noise was that we were hearing. And she left. Whatever it was about that, she was like, this is more important than playing with my little cat toy. So she's gone, thankfully. We're still stuck here though, and we really just have nothing that we can do. So the lawnmower sounds, they're actually in the game. There's like a little mini drone that is flying around making sure that the camera can go wherever we're trying to move the camera. So sometimes you just happen to hear the drone. That's what's happening, I'm pretty sure.
I have returned.
Welcome.
Thank you. It was touch and go there for a minute.
Well, we are on a timer here, waiting for it to feel like it has taken forever so that the narrator can say that it took forever. So if you have any updates about the charity or anything, that would be great.
Absolutely. Well, we're raising money for Save the Children. We are $50 away, and it looks like we have about an hour and 20 minutes until this run starts to wrap up. If you want to get your donations in to watch that last cutscene, you got to get them in ASAP. $50 to the next incentive. We have a bunch of great bid wars going on. Choose the next Speed Doc video. Crash Bandicoot's on there. 2 Spyro and bid wars. As we have now waited for what seems like an eternity. Get those donations in. If you donate any amount, I promise I will blow the train whistle in your honor. So get those donations in, please.
Yeah. Get the train whistle going. Well, thank goodness this isn't my real setup, because this was garbage. So we're stuck here. We waited for an eternity. Who knows how long it was. Could have been a couple days, could have been like 10 minutes. Oh, now it's a weed whacker. The plot thickens. So thankfully, Trico can hear me from wherever it was that he popped out when he came to the end of the water tunnel. And he can hear me! Reunited at last! Hi, buddy! Trico, your feathers aren't quite loading right. You feeling okay? Borf borf. Okay, so we wait for the borf borf, and then we actually get to attempt cage puzzle. This is the difficult thing. This is the run killer. We'll see what kind of setup Trico gives us. The reason that this is challenging is because this cage is hard to control, number 1. And number 2, it also requires input from Trico. So automatically you throw Trico into the mix and anything becomes harder. Hi, buddy. He wants pets. I'd give him pets if I could, but I'm in a cage. Come on. Alright, we need to go that way, my dude. And I need you to push me once, and then I need you to leave me alone. I love you, but I need you to leave me alone, okay? Because once I get pushed, I can almost always set it up into a kind of decent setup. Like, this is fine. But I need Trico to not, you know, bonk me or claw at me with his feet and send me swirling in a circle or something. Like, he's just trying to be helpful. But he's really not. Good. Alright. So that's step number 1. We've accomplished that. We're looking good. Trico didn't really interfere with the first part of Cage Puzzle. I've broken my leg, as I do. It's always my left leg. It's mostly just shards at this point. Alright, one more little bit here. We gotta get out of the cage. Broken my leg again. So we're hoping for a good launch. There's no guarantee that this isn't just going to kill me. So we'll see. We also don't want Trico to be down here because Trico will be Trico and he can mess everything up. Yeet. And I hate it. Yeah, actually we can't keep that. That's the only setup that we can't keep at all. Because there's no way out. You land to the left of that other cage, there's no way out. So we gotta do it again. Thankfully it's a quick reset. And down we go. Better yeet, come on. Yeah, okay. Okay. I'll take it. Except fall down though. This is acceptable to me. Alright, let's get our momentum going before Trico comes over here and gets meddlesome. There we go. So we're free! Cage puzzle is done. Sort of decent. Were you gonna step on me? I don't approve of that. And so why do we even need this helmet? Well, because we skipped the part where Trico was gonna sit down and be like, look, that was a lot of work. Food, please. And we're already in the process of getting him a snack. So every now and then you see helmets like this, or helmets, armor like this that doesn't have a helmet. Putting one on will wake it up. So we'll get this guy to move because he has a barrel behind him. And that was a barrel skip. We're supposed to obviously lure this guy all around and walk up like over here. Ain't nobody got time for that, just walk right past him. And now we've got the
Can I get a
Snacko.
quick dono?
Yeah, you bet.
After you... Alright. We have a $5 donation from 2000-ish.
Hey!
All praise Mort. We are $45 away
Yay!
from seeing what happens to Trico. Thank you for your generous donation.
Yes, thank you, 2000. Much appreciated. Are you ready, buddy?
Yippee!
I really should stop eating peanuts. I was like, oh yeah, peanuts are a good filling snack. Well, they're also apparently impossible to eat. Ugh. Okay.
You're like your house is like the Texas Roadhouse where they throw the shells on the ground.
So Trico's gonna get us out of here now. We're finally reunited, me and my best bud. And with Cage Puzzle over, you know how to do this, dude. We are going to be progressing quickly toward the next difficult skip, White Tower skip. I think some runners would consider it to be the hardest skip in the game. I am among them. It is certainly not easy, but it does save anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how good you are at doing White Tower, like as intended. So it's very important for any runs that want to be, you know, competitive in the top couple places. And so of course we'll do it. And we'll probably fail it, and then we'll do it again. And you know what? We'll get it. But that is a story for 10 minutes from now. Right, buddy? Alright, good walk, dude. Stop. Focus. Thank you. Okay, he sees the hole. That's kind of a big deal. I have now lost 2 world record pace runs to him just not seeing this hole in the ceiling. And just standing here for... At one of the times he stood here for 8 minutes. Just like wandering around and sniffing and being like, I don't know where to go, ma. So thank goodness he found that. His horns are basically grown back, by the way. They're a little skinny still, but they're basically here. Also, and perhaps more importantly, the mowers are gone. Sorry.
Mowers are gonna be going down in SDAT history as a hashtag SDAT moment.
Because I even thought to myself, you know, it's been a while since they've been here. I hope they don't come today, specifically between noon and 3:30. And that's exactly when they showed up.
While we're interrupted, let's go ahead. We have a $25 donation from Anonymous.
Heck yeah.
No message, but donates to the incentive. So thank you, Anonymous, for
Yay.
that generous donation. We are now $20 away. 4 people donating $5. We get to find out what happens to our boy Treeks. So get those donations in. We have a lot of cool incentives and milestones today. We've never missed an incentive at SDAT ever. SDAT has never missed an incentive. Let's keep the streak alive.
We're so close. So close. And don't you just love this boy? This big, feathery, who knows what he is, boy. You don't have to know what he is to know that he's very special. But seriously though, like, what is he? A dog?
No being mean to Trico now. I mean it. Anybody wanna eat? Shout out to Wallace Shawn, wherever he is.
So that was not like a catastrophic failure like it might have appeared. I was trying to just do this little skip, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference, so it's always worth it to try. It wasn't like, oh no, you died. I fully expected that, that's fine. So coming up here, in just a little bit, and by a little bit I mean like 2 minutes, we are gonna have an unskippable I say cutscene, again, it's not a cutscene, it's a scripted event, but it presents like a cutscene. And so I'm gonna stand up and stretch my legs and everything. It's one of my favorite parts of the run though, so if you've never seen this scene, it's just so lovely. But that means I'm gonna step away for just a second to stretch my legs, as I've been sitting for more than 2 hours at this point without moving.
You're gonna get more peanuts?
No! I'm not gonna get more peanuts because I've learned my lesson.
$2,700, see if we eat more peanuts.
Peanut ASMR.
That's a real anyone want a peanut moment.
That's another one of these cages. We've seen this before. Remember the last time that we were in a cage, Trico kinda nommed me.
I put a spell on you. It casually plays in the background.
So perhaps unsurprisingly, you know, we got maunched again. Sometimes you just need a snack, you know? So I'll explain a little bit more about what happened in the thing that I did just skip. When I back, let me stretch my legs real quick. In the meantime, enjoy this lovely scene where Trico realizes that maybe you shouldn't eat people because that doesn't make them feel good.
While we're enjoying this scene, I just want to let you all know we had a $10 donation from Clean Sarah. Are we going to get Mower Z in the next SDAT? Eyes? $10 away, y'all. We can do it.
Okay. Hi. I'm back. Ignore all of the presumably leathery chair sounds.
Hi, back. I'm Dad.
You were really working up for that one, huh?
You know, I pick my spots.
So we got Trico being a little bit of a weirdo in this cutscene. He, as always, you know, is in the middle of accomplishing a set of tasks that is programmed. You know, go here, do this, go here, do this, as a scripted event. And so the path that he takes to do those things isn't always the same. And he was okay. He was decent. But he wasn't like anything spectacular in this little scene.
While you were gone, we made a viewer reward for Choo Choo.
Hey. So, you know, Trico's realizing, of course, that maybe you shouldn't eat people. Maybe that's not a kind thing to do and it makes them feel bad. Because he can't wake us up and he's getting very distraught.
Can he not wake us up because we're deadsies or because we're taking a snooze?
Taking a bit of a snooze, a bit of an unconscious snooze. His solution, of course, is to drown us face down into the water. Thanks, buddy. But hey, it works, I guess, so can you really complain? I also like that one of his other solutions was to put us in the sun, but then he just hovered over us so that no sun even reached us anyway. It is so pure. So, I skipped a little, and by a little I actually mean a kind of long, scene before I headed off. And what we learned was basically that Trico came from this place to our village, stuck his head right in my house, and just abducted me in my sleep. He just ate me while I was asleep. And the entire village was like, oh heck, what is this thing? And that's how Trico got his spears at the beginning of the game. They threw some spears at him to get him to go away. And as he was flying back with me in his belly, because he maunched me, he flew into a storm and got struck by lightning. In the process, of course, that knocked him out of the sky, because I would think so, but it also blew off the end of his tail, broke his horns as he crashed down to the ground, kind of messed up his wings. He was just really not having a good time. And so because his horns were broken and like his face mask and everything got all messed up, the armors took him down to the place where we started the game and chained him up. And that's how we found him. It turns out that we were in that cave with him because while he was unconscious, he barfed us up and that was that. And so that's how we ended up where we were at the very beginning of the game. Thank you for all of the debris. What are you doing? Cool. So we got this tiny little mine shaft. It's open now for Trico to come in. We gotta try to get him to squeeze through here. Like, there's nowhere else to go. So poor Trico's gotta squeeze his way right through here. Hey, buddy. He's coming. He's breaking everything as he goes. he sticks his head through here, and then he's stuck. He can't make it any further. And it was just too small for him. He collapsed the whole dang thing. How much of this story is fabricated by the boy who has sustained like no fewer than 30 concussions so far? We're kind of on our own. Trico, he's okay. He's breathing. He's just, you know, trapped underneath all the rubble. And out here, we've actually got White Tower. We're pretty close. But there's armors and no Trico. Like, we don't have anything that we can do to fight these armors. Thankfully, though, Trico hears me calling for him and he bursts out, ready to help me. I say help loosely because he is very bad at this fight. See? He's just really not good at it. So I can help. Once he has them knocked down, I can yank their heads off. But the problem is that I can't usually knock them down by myself. Which is why I need his help. Trico, could you move your tail? Honey, you are just not good at this. Okay, we're done. We're done. That's it. That's all. Okay. So not the best, not the worst. And of course, you know, he sees the White Tower, so he's got to shout about it a little bit. As he do. And now, at last, we are coming up on White Tower Skip. You can see there's two eyeballs all the way out there in the distance. Trico, naturally, is going to be afraid of those. So the intended solution is to go all the way around the White Tower and be able to come back to them to push them off the top. But we're not going to do any of that because that takes multiple minutes to go around the tower. Step number one is don't die when we fall down. Perfect. Didn't die. Great. Trico, you're totally 9,000% in the way. Please. Thank you. Okay. So, step number two. There's a break in the top of this bridge. So we can't just walk right over and get rid of the eyeballs. We gotta go down and around the whole White Tower. I mean, hey, we finally made it to the White Tower. It's where we've been trying to go the entire game. That's exciting. But instead of going all the way around the White Tower, we're gonna try to do this skip instead. Oh, not only was that first try, but that was fast. I can definitely be super happy with that. I genuinely have never done White Tower that well. That was really, really good. And so in doing that, we avoided going around the entire White Tower, which, like I said, takes between 3 and 5 minutes, depending on how fast you do it. And just went straight from the bottom to the top. And I'm gonna submit that as an individual level. But there are too many of these. Like, look at all these armors. They're all shooting this magic at me. No matter how much I mash, there's just too many. I can't move anymore. And they've got these eyeball shields. Like, they're really just trying to make sure that Trico is not gonna come and interfere with them taking me back to these doors. But thankfully, you know, our good boy values us more than he's afraid of the eyeballs.
Only took a few eatings to get to that point, though.
Oh, sure.
We are peanut shaped.
That's very true. So he's becoming a big boy, right? He's overcoming his fears. His wings finally are a little bit bigger. He was able to glide for the first time. His horns are growing back. He's really... The little boy's getting so big.
Really quick, how much time do you think we have left in this run?
Less than an hour. Probably 15
You have less than an
minutes.
hour to raise $10, people. I believe in you.
We can do it.
There's a lot of emotions.
I mean, don't you want to know what happens to Trico at the end of this run? Look at how much he's grown.
You can be the biggest boy.
That jump to his head, by the way, not like intended. That's the speedrunner's way. You're supposed to jump towards like some gargoyles that are in front of you, and one of them will break and land you on Trico's leg. But we don't want to be on Trico's leg, we want to be on his head. Are you going to do your job, buddy? I love you, but I don't trust you. Thank you. This is by far the easiest one to miss. Like, if you're gonna get dropped by Trico, it's probably right here.
You had to think about it for the second one. We did it! Julie with $10 says, I want to see the BB have a happy ending, please.
Yay!
Flying. So that is the incentive met. Awesome job. Thank you, everybody, for donating. We're going to see what happens to Trico.
Thank you, everybody. You won't be disappointed, I promise. It will answer so many questions. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the thing. Get it? Yes. It's literally just called the thing. Because, you know, we're creative.
I would expect nothing less than from a master linguist such as yourself.
Is the ending going to make me cry?
$700. Oh yes. Of course. Everything makes Shuli cry. And just a reminder, everyone, for $5 more, Sable will eat a peanut. They all can't be great incentives, all right? But we're gonna get her back on the peanut grind.
Alright, come on, buddy. We are heading into definitely my favorite part of the game. It was both when I was playing casually and, you know, even now as a speedrun. I very much enjoyed this part. It kind of hinges, of course, on you adoring our best boy here and caring about what happens to him. But I think that they did a phenomenal job with how this is structured. Alright, so he's gonna take care of these armors. I'm gonna leave those to him. Because eventually he's gonna see this eyeball and he's gonna be like, nah, I don't like this. Like always. That's our Trico. So I'm gonna work on getting rid of this. We work well as a team, you know? He's taking care of the fight, I'm taking care of the puzzle. We're good. And that was a quick fight for him, but he is already ready. Here we go. So this is obviously the same Trico, once again, the one that hit us in the face and knocked us down, the one that trapped me in the cage. He's just a real grump. And Sancho, I believe, who is in chat, once said, and I couldn't have put it better myself, Trico is a lover, not a fighter, so he's not great at this.
It's a really nice thing to say after someone gets their ass beat. Trico's just getting beat. We did have that $5 come in from Iris. Thank you, Iris. So that is the $5 eat the peanut.
Hey, you know what?
It's gotta be the best incentive at any marathon ever.
Just for you, I'm gonna eat a whole handful of peanuts.
Woo! Up a Molly, I'm sweating.
Alright, real quick, through the legs. Oh boy, it's real spooky in here. Trico, get out of the way. Honey, move. Okay. Alright, give me peanuts. There. Ah, where am I? Uh-oh. So if I would have been grabbed by, or caught on Trico there, I would have triggered a different checkpoint than this, and it would have been very bad. So it's risky to do that, but it saves a lot of time. I should not be talking with peanuts in my mouth.
And that's, yeah.
Oh, that grab though. That was a fraction of an inch from death. Because there is no grab, like, collision during that little scene there. So I landed on Trico, started to slide to the point where I was gonna die, and then the scene ended enough for me to grab right at the edge of his feathers. That was very close. Oh, hi, honey. I love you and I want to pet you, but that's not what I meant to do. See? Circle button. Again. There's the peanut.
I don't know if you know this, but chewing helps.
There's something on the peanuts, okay? It's like salt or something. My body is not equipped for it.
Who's ever heard of salted peanuts? Oh boy, planters, move out of the way. There's a new game in town. I feel like this is our first butt laser in a while.
It is our first butt laser in a while. Turns out that the mirror that we couldn't find was in Trico's belly. And that's why we couldn't find it. When he ate us for the first time, he swallowed it. It came off of my arm, and it's been banging around in his tummy this entire time.
You know, sometimes when dogs feel sick that they eat grass, maybe he ate us because he was trying to throw up the mirror.
That's what he's been trying to tell us the entire time. He's like, no, no, go in and get it. You don't understand.
I have 4 stomachs, okay? It's complicated. My physiology is very complex.
So the boy did say, hold on, Trico, I'll pull it out. That means that we failed the spear check, which means we're going to have to take this one out in order to make sure that we can progress. Otherwise, it'll just be stuck here forever. And the things that I was exploding early on when I first picked up the mirror again were 2 platforms where armors were standing. They weren't bothering us now, but in a little bit they will be. Or rather they won't because I exploded their faces, but you know, that's the point. If they're not there, then Trico's not going to get angry at them, we don't have to fight them, I don't have to calm Trico down, all of that, so we're taking them out early. Hang on, buddy. I fix. I've spent so much time.
It's like Popeye and spinach.
I've spent so much time trying to figure out a way to stop Trico from putting his head down in between each barrel. Like, the speedrunner in me is just so like, no, Trico, faster! But he's so hurt. Take your time, buddy. Food makes everything better, except maybe morbid obesity. Yeah, you know, you're not wrong.
I was watching, like, I was eating lunch in a hot dog shop the other day, and they had the TV on like a game show thing. And it was like Hollywood Squares, but it wasn't Hollywood Squares. And they were like, this is a potential cure for seasickness. And one of the panelists said drowning.
What?
And I was like, jeez. I think it was like Louis Anderson's like, oh, what's a potential cure for drowning? Sorry, cure for seasickness? Drowning. It's like, well, technically that is correct.
Yeah, I suppose.
But, no.
Oh, I should have done the alternate way to do this puzzle. It would have showed a different cutscene. So if you're holding the controller in your hands for this whole section, like when the boy is sleeping next to Trico, you can feel his heartbeat in the controller. And he's maybe a little worse for wear, but he's doing okay. I don't necessarily like the pink eyes. That means that he's upset about something, which is a glitch. He shouldn't be upset about anything. Hopefully he still listens. Sometimes that happens, and we don't know why, but he seems to be okay. I want to pet the blood off, but that's gonna make him sit down. Alright, he's gonna be climbing up here, And we've already taken care of the armors that are up here. So we're actually not going to have to do anything. Normally there would be 2 armor fights on the way up. And we are not going to have to worry about them because we took them out when we were still on the ground. That's why we were shooting butt lasers. So the different eye colors. Currently his eyes are like this minty green, right? Which is his standard I'm just walking around, I'm generally happy colors. They're also the colors of his flashlight eyeballs, if he's ever in darkness and his eyes are glowing. That's the color they'll be. Pink eyes typically means that he's upset or agitated. Pink eyes are what he has when he's fighting, when he notices, you know, eyeballs that scare him, that kind of thing. And yellow eyes are when I offer him a barrel, and he notices the barrel, and he's like, oh, a schnacko. So his eyes change a bunch of colors. And we do use that in a speedrun to understand what he's thinking and whether he's going to listen to us. He's basically a giant mood ring. Also, I don't understand how mood rings work, but I'm pretty sure they're a scam. Is that true? Am I right that mood rings are like a scam? Is it just different body temperatures make them change color?
I don't care for the blasphemy that's coming out of your mouth right now. I'll have you know, I had a bunch of mood rings, and I, unfortunately, would lose the corresponding card that told you what the moods were. But, you know, there's gotta be some science to it.
Oh, I'm sure there's some science.
I bought it in a dollar store. What do you mean?
I got immediately.
If you were a kid and if you had a mood ring and you were a kid, you had a mood ring and you had a Neo pet, you were balling.
You were cool. But
and you had a cosmic brownie in your lunchbox, bruh.
Instead of like a zebra cake.
All my homies hate zebra cakes.
Hey, zebra cakes is like where it's at though.
Are you out here in these streets dogging on the mood ring and saying zebra cakes are better than cosmic brownies?
See, but I got
what's happening?
I got punished for it immediately. Trico got stuck, so like the universe was like, no, take it back. Oh yeah, slap bracelets. Can't forget slap bracelets.
Alright, important poll. Cosmic brownies, zebra cakes. Oatmeal creams?
Oatmeal creams are good. I'm not sure about in the freezer. I'm not sure what heresy that is. Somebody told me yesterday they put Pop-Tarts in the freezer.
Because they like cutting the roof of their mouth?
Yeah, I don't understand. What even?
They're meant to be warmed up. I can understand eating them at room temperature because you're lazy or you don't own a toaster.
Or because they're better at room temperature, let's be real.
Okay, I'm just going to say that all of the fruity ones are better heated up. The chocolate ones are better at room temperature.
Yes. Agreed. For sure.
Those Pop-Tarts can be good. You people make me sick. That's right, I said you people. Shuli's out here being like, I love listening to Hollywood Squares on NBC Daytime in 1983. And, you know, I put my oatmeal creams in the freezer. And me and John Stanwyck used to ride the trolley.
Oh, Trico's... I take everything back, apparently. Trico is just being the worst. We got none of early mirrors. But hey, you know what? He faced his fear. Oh, and we're getting a boost here instead of a jump. This is literally like, this could not go worse. So apparently, cosmic brownies are better than zebra cakes. Mood rings are real. Apparently. I take it all back.
This is the recanting that people need to do more often before they get to their deathbed.
Rico, I'm sorry. Zebra cakes suck, dude, okay? I'm sorry.
He's not having it.
No!
He's going home.
Alright, you wanna try this again, my dude?
When Trico was like marching in place earlier, I was listening. I had like Kanye West going on in one ear, and it's like, oh, he's dancing to "Lift Yourself" by Kanye West.
Okay, maybe we can recover this a little bit, you big feathery goober. I cannot see. Buddy. Like, I'll make a blind shot. You just gotta shoot, though. But yeah.
Graham cracker, marshmallow fluff, and chocolate syrup. You put on ice cream, make them, toss them in the freezer. What West Virginian shit are you on?
You know, I haven't even eaten a graham cracker in like 15 years or something. Like, real talk, I hadn't ever had a s'more until I met my husband. And almost until we were married. Like, it was just a part of my childhood that somehow got completely skipped over. And they're like, okay.
Shirley, why is your improv involving not heating anything up, but putting everything in the freezer? The freezer doesn't cook anything. I'm disturbed by the direction this conversation's gone. I don't know how to carry on.
Did he propose with the s'more? You know, he didn't propose with the s'more, but he was fully prepared. Okay, let me just explain what just happened with my English, but first let me finish the story. He fully planned on proposing with a penguin. Like a real live penguin. And the nonsense that just spouted out of my mouth was a combination of planning, propose, and penguin, all as one word.
Okay, but the penguin thing raises more questions than gives answers. So, like, he was gonna take you to the zoo?
Yeah. I mean, he did propose at the zoo anyway. That happened.
He just did it in the spider exhibit.
He did it in the food court while I had a mouthful of hot dog. Because he was trying, because our zoo has like the penguin encounter thing where you can go and like pet the penguins for half an hour. And so he was trying to like do that. And he called them and was like, hey, you know, will you do this? Because he was going to have one of the penguins wearing like a little box with the ring, and so when they came out, you know, the penguin was going to bring it to me. And they were like, oh yeah, sure, you know, this is great. Call back in like a month or two and we'll schedule it. And then when he called back, they were booked out for like a year, and he was like, guys, what? And so he didn't feel like, you know, waiting that entire time, so the food court it was.
You know, not even like it's a hot dog. Like, listen, I will ride for hot dogs, right? I'm not one of these hot dog haters, right? I will ride and die for the dog. And, you know, people are like, oh, don't eat hot dogs, they take 36 minutes off your life. I'm like, listen, do you want to live those extra 36 minutes?
I saw that
if
this
it means
morning.
you don't get to eat hot dogs? Yeah. I'm like, listen, life has risks. What are you gonna do, live in the bubble? Anyway. But the important thing that we're alluding here is that, you know, I don't think hot dogs are the perfect proposal meal.
Well,
although that having been said, I don't know what the perfect proposal food is.
I had a sneaking suspicion that it was going to happen that day, but not in the food court. And so I just ordered whatever I wanted, which happened to be just like a kid's meal, which had like a hot dog and apple juice. And we were just sitting there and I was munching away on my hot dog, and he's like, oh, by the way. And that was that.
Gwen Stefani plays over the speakers in the food court. You time been around that check.
But like, I knew it was coming. Obviously, we designed my ring together, so I knew it was coming. It wasn't a surprise.
Nothing says true love like Panda Express Lo Mein. I think chicken's pretty good. Chicken's pretty safe. Like, you have to think, what if that was the worst hot dog she had ever eaten? And like, there was like a seed in there. And she's like hacking on it, and then he pulls the ring out, and she's like mid-choke. Like, this is not the time. That's the last thing you want. You definitely don't want the person you're proposing to be like, listen, now is not the right time. I did know someone who proposed after they had Taco Bell. That's a gamble.
I don't know.
That's
Taco Bell is like dope though.
But the intestinal distress that follows for many people makes it not a clear choice. Maybe Chipotle would be better.
Now, can I thoroughly 100% offend you?
You can, yes.
So, hot dogs, right? I like hot dogs, but my favorite hot dog is the Oscar Mayer kind with cheese in the middle. Cold, out of the fridge. Not cooked,
What?
just
What?
out of the fridge. Just put them on a plate, don't even put them in a bun. Just eat them cold. And so,
I don't even know what to say to that. That's vile.
once again, we've looped back to why is this hot food cold?
Now, at least you don't put them in the freezer. Surely she
No.
used to think that if you put stuff in the freezer, it gets cooked. I think this is because she lived so long without a stove.
I mean, freezer burn. It's some kind of burn.
It's the burn in the wrong direction. Temperature is not a circle. Temperature is a line. You eat them cold?
Yeah, they're good.
All right. That... I don't even... Sable has a good point. No, she doesn't.
Thank you. Thank you. Somebody understands.
Julie's not exactly Phoenix Wright over here, so maybe hold on before you pick her up as your defense attorney. She's not Miles Edgeworth. Temperature is not a circle, yeah.
And yet, at the same
Cold
time...
food can be better, but not hot dogs.
Well, but at the same time, like, dipping French fries in, like, a Wendy's Frosty? Nah. That's whack. Why would you do that?
Okay.
And apparently that's, like, normal. But eating a cold hot dog uncooked out of the fridge without a bun? Okay, well, if I say it that way...
Did I tell you about my friend who I took to a Yankee game? And she spent 2 innings, because it's Yankee Stadium, it takes forever to get food. It takes a whole inning to get food. She spent 2 innings, 1 inning to get a bowl of ice cream. And not in this order, I guess, but 1 inning to get chicken tenders, and then she put the chicken tenders under the ice cream.
Nah. Like, nah.
And then she's like, it's really good. I'm like, you're foul. You do this in public? I'm not going to bring you anywhere anymore.
And see, this is nice. Just like this. By having this conversation about disgusting and perfectly normal food, such as cold hot dogs, we have basically made it through this otherwise very uneventful section. Look at that.
You know, I guess if you were to be like, hey, I wrap, you know those cheese string things that people
Oh yeah,
buy?
sure.
Like, if you were to tell me that you wrap a piece of bologna around that when you eat it, I'm like, okay, I can see that. There's just something, like, about the idea that if it being presented in the form of a hot dog, that makes it, yeah. But also, just the cheese texture inside the hot dog makes me sick. I don't know why. It never melts.
Right, yeah, no. It's like a little
So-
surprise with every bite. Hashtag dead.
Why was that so funny?
Oh, dang it. I actually did like a really good run during that cutscene, and then I got disoriented and went back to the start. Oh, what a goober. So we're making a bridge, by the way. This is too far for Trico to jump on his own, so we're making a bridge. But there's the White Tower in the background. We're almost there. Mort has done 0 moving for the last 2.5 hours.
Good Mort. You know, I know I've watched you do this speedrun like dozens of times. I don't get why he cares so much about this damn tower. Like,
Yeah,
you
no.
know, maybe it's like Homeward Bound. You know, maybe this is really just the game version of Homeward Bound. But
I mean,
the
like,
movie with the dogs in it.
I
But,
think that it's
I
just,
don't know.
you know, I think it's just like contrived, well, we have to have somewhere to go or else you're just wandering aimlessly, right? I guess, like, the cutscene that we skipped, right, shows that this is where Trico was trying to go back to. He was trying to go back to the White Tower when he got struck by lightning. So maybe he's like, well, I guess I'm still due there. You know, I still need to go there. Hey, buddy. Catch me. Good job, dude.
I'm not Octini. Take it up with Sable if you think it's a war crime. She's the one violating the Geneva Convention. Cheese infused? Yeah, so put cheese inside of a hot dog. Now, I'm telling you, the only reason they do that is to save on hot dog costs. You need significantly less hot dog when you make those.
Do you cook them at some point and let them get cold? No. No, because when they're in the Oscar Mayer package, they're already, like, boiled, cooked, or whatever, so they're safe to eat. So no, I never heat them up.
Yeah. Yeah, hot dogs are a cured meat, which means they've already been cooked.
Alright, so
Same thing
we...
with bacon. You don't have to cook bacon.
Right.
But, sorry.
Yeah. So we've made a bridge for Trico. Finally, we're done with this section. Yeehaw! So Trico can kind of fly, a little bit. He's maybe not super great at it, but we're on our way. Needs to work on his landings a little bit. And so we're at the White Tower. Finally, after all this time, we've set foot in this place we've been trying to get to. And now we have a lot of fights with lots of armors, more armors than ever before. So I'm going to be focused on taking care of these armors, but that does not mean that I can't also talk about cold hot dogs.
I know Crunchy can't hear, which is why I typed that joke in the chat. This sounds like a war crime. Also,
You know-
Shanks, come here.
You're actually not the first person to tell me that I've violated the Geneva Convention, so I'm not sure what that says about me as a person.
It's actually not hard to violate the Geneva Convention in your day-to-day life. Well, I mean, it's not like it's easy. Impersonating a nurse, that's a technical foul.
Because last time it happened, I was playing D&D. Ooh, fall over, buddy! Fall over! I was playing D&D, and my big, fat lizard character, whose name is Pugsley, is a chef. He's a bard chef. And we encountered a wizard who had been polymorphed into a sheep. and we tried to polymorph it back. Didn't think to hand the staff of polymorph to the person in the party who knew magic. And so we just kind of tried to do it. We bonked him on the head and it turned him into some like grotesque blob instead of turning him back into a person. And so being, you know, the lizard man chef that I was like, alright, well, I guess he's done for. Let's cook him. And apparently that didn't sit well with the rest of my party.
Yeah, suggesting that you eat the person that y'all fucked up and turn into some like Cronenberg character.
I mean,
yeah, I can imagine why the alignment chart has a problem with that.
He was hopeless. We couldn't polymorph him again.
Probably couldn't polymorph him the first time. I'm sitting here like as a DM. I'm like, what rule? What rule as written would allow you to unpolymorph him? What level are you?
That was only like 4. Level 4 or something.
Yeah, y'all weren't doing nothing. The staff could be next to him being like, with instructions on how to turn him back. And y'all were like, alright, let's do it. And y'all were gonna be like, nah, fam. He's gonna turn into some random dude. Doesn't speak English. Or doesn't speak common, sorry. No. And still eating those raw dogs.
Yeah, Tic Tac, you were in that one shot. And the DM made me, I wanted to cook him. Well, I didn't want to cook him, I wanted to eat him. And everybody else was like, that's gross, you should cook him. And Tic Tac, who's in chat, happened to have lit the entire world on fire because he missed throwing a Molotov at the wizard. I think it was Tic Tac. And so everything was on fire and the DM was like, okay, if you're gonna eat it, cook it. And so I just held it over the like raging brush fire to cook it, and I failed my survival check, and so I dropped it, and then I burnt it because it was in the fire for too long, and then it made me sick, and I barfed. Like it was a whole time.
I forgot I was on push to talk. Yes, that was a hell of a story. I had a character who had an adamantium baseball bat.
As you do.
And, really fun character. They can work with a baseball bat, you know, really just the most kind of fun, the best kind of fun, wholesome fun. And JR in the chat, Tamar711, was the DM, and he ruined it for me by making it talk to me. And it was a sassy bat now.
Yeah.
And we ended the session. That was the last time he ever DM'd. I was like, you ruined it.
I feel like there's a gun in Borderlands that does the same thing, like it sassily talks to you whenever you shoot it. So this went really well. If I can break from D&D to explain what we're actually doing. We're stuck in an elevator. We have to activate the individual pieces of the elevator one by one. So I got Trico to shoot 4 of those armors, and it happened exactly as you want it to happen. The 4 armors exploded, 2 of their heads went in opposite directions and landed on the 2 armors that didn't have heads, which woke them up. And so we were able to 2-cycle this, and everybody's gone now. And we're coming up into the longest and by far the hardest fight in the game. But before that, we have a cheeky little reset that I really love. So elevators open. I'm not with Trico, but if I reset, I will be. Which prevents me from having to climb his tail. It's just so cheeky. I love it. So we're heading up into, like I said, the longest and hardest fight in the game. It's gonna take much of my attention, So if we have, now that we've met my incentive, if we have other incentives coming up, it would be good to hear about those.
It would be good to hear about those, wouldn't it? All right, so let me paint y'all a lovely tapestry of what's going on right now. We have 3 current incentives. We have Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko. That's going to be later tonight. Turn the voices on. Everyone likes to hear Gex. Oh, this is worse than Christmas at Tom Bosley's house.
That was actually
Crash
pretty good.
Bandicoot. Thank you. We have Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy Show the secret ending. So if you want to see the secret ending of Crash Bandicoot, that is an incentive that'll be on later tonight. And then the big
Trico.
boy, Banjo-Kazooie randomizer run. So we'll have all of the Banjo-Kazooie run in its entirety for y'all. And then we'll have a bonus run of Banjo-Kazooie randomizer. So if you want to see what a Banjo-Kazooie randomizer looks like, get those donations in. There's a few bid wars I'll just run through really quick. You can choose the next Speed Doc video. You can choose Banjo, Final Fantasy 9, Donkey Kong Country 3, Jak 2. Donkey Kong Country 3 is currently winning. You can pick to play as Crash or Coco in Crash Bandicoot. Coco is currently winning. And you can choose the colors for Spyro 2 and Spyro 1. Right now, Rainbow and Retro are winning, respectively. And lastly, Fable Anniversary, Save or Kill Briar Rose. That is the bid war coming up after this run. And it is dead even right now. So any donation would steal that for your side. Just a heads up. So that is all of our incentives.
Nice. As a Spyro runner myself, I am always excited to see the color bid war. Buddy, there you go. The Trico has not been doing too bad. Realistically, this has not been a bad fight at all. Those guys are stacked. Oh, how did this guy not explode? Come on. You can do this, buddy. Thank you. No, not the helmet. You got this, Treeks. Trico, honey, I need you. There you go. What? What is it stuck on? No, come back! What was it stuck on? There was nothing in the middle. Alright, fine, whatever.
Maybe there was a penny in the door.
Trico, honey, I'm gonna need you to calm down, okay? Calm it down. You're interfering with my groove. Thank you, Uber. Morty! You're awake! Welcome back, buddy!
Morty has joined the battle.
It probably was his tail. Yeah, like... It probably was his tail passing underneath that thing before it came down, and it was just like, oh, well, there's something down there. It doesn't have to be under it at the moment that it tries to touch down in order for it to count as being obstructed, so... But yeah, that was still a pretty decent fight. We were able to stop the majority of the shield guys from coming out, and the one that did come out, like, it wasn't a big deal. Oh, the frames! There's like so many barrels in here, it really messes with things. Honey, stop. Over here. We don't want to go that way. He was picking the longer of the paths to get up here. What is Mort? He's a blue-tongued skink, which is a kind of lizard. Sometimes it can be hard to tell because of his stubby little legs, one of which you can see right there, sticking up. But blue-tongued skinks, or at least the kind that I have, are from Australia. They have a bright blue tongue, and they're basically chubby little tube socks. Yeah. Go, Trico, go! I'm gonna let this actually go all the way to the bottom. I wanted Trico to make that jump. Hopefully it checkpointed us. It did. Good. So instead of resetting while falling, I let the boy continue to fall to give Trico as much time as possible to make it to the next platform. Because it checkpoints as soon as Trico touches the next platform. I don't have to be there. And so we made sure that we were checkpointed at the top. So that was kind of a clutch recovery, if we're being honest. But it's not really that much different than what we were going to do anyway. So I wouldn't call that a big time loss at all. What are you doing, dude? Uh-oh. That's a first. It's been a long time since I've pushed that too far. Tried to be marathon safe and then ended up being like marathon unsafe. So the aura around the Master of the Valley here expands slowly if you push it in only like most of the way. But if you push it in all the way, it explodes back out like you saw. So we're trying to... Speedrunners are trying to push it in just enough that we can make it up without spending extra time if we don't need to. Mort, I see your nose, buddy. What a good hider. Mort often thinks that he's hiding when he's really not. Ooh, that was almost a death. Why would you fall backwards? Alright, in the interest of being in a marathon, I'm gonna try see if we can maybe get this to happen. I doubt it, but we can certainly try. Nah, Trico doesn't seem to care. Yeah, he's running. Alright, fine. I was trying to get him to poop, okay? I skipped a reset so that we didn't automatically lose the chance. If he's gonna poop, top of the White Tower here is a sort of commonplace.
Trico has RNG poops, is that the deal?
Oh yes, absolutely. After much work and many years, I still have no idea what makes him poop. Which is bad, right? Because if you're doing platinum %, that's a trophy. You have to, not only do you have to just find his poops, but you have to catch him pooping. And so you can run an entire 12-hour category and then just not get poops. And then it's like, well, okay, too bad for you, you know? We're not really sure how this kid relates to the other, like Shadow the Colossus and Eco. They're supposed to be in the same world, but for all we know, this could be like thousands of years in the future, you know? Yes, we're baby birding people into the tower. So that's the entire purpose of what the Tricos are doing. That's what Trico was trying to do with me before he got struck by lightning. You know, he picked me up from my village to bring me back to this tower, to barf me into that baby bird looking thing. Presumably, for the tower to use me, like, it's not entirely clear. I think that, and it's not always kids, like, it can be anybody, it can be adults, whatever. I think that what's happening is they're depositing people. The Master of the Valley is taking whatever it needs from them, from the people, to continue to exist and function. And then whatever's left over gets put into the barrels. And then they get, you know, shot out for the Tricos as a reward for doing their job. Mort has decided it's sleepy time, apparently. That's okay. Yeah, like, some people think that the barrels are just rewards and they have no connection to the children, but...
So this is all scripted, right? This is just like a big thingy.
Uh-huh. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do to make it faster. Even, like, Fumito Ueda himself said, there's nothing you can do to change what this Trico does. So we just kind of hang around, literally. Don't think that I didn't try, though. I spent a lot of time testing just to make sure. That was a good launch. She didn't really bother us. I got put in a pretty decent place. Almost there.
We got a stealthy $10 donation from Octini.
Hey.
Last Guardian? More like Fast Guardian, am I right?
I like it. Thank you.
And that $10 went to showing the secret ending of Crash Bandicoot.
The poor Trico had his tail ripped off again because it got blown off at the beginning of the game too. We're gonna go and get it. Hoping for a good pull. Yoink. Very nice. So even though the tail isn't connected to Trico anymore, it can still do its thing. And time is going to happen when I hit the Master of the Valley here. That was not a hit, so, you know. Ready? Time. Sorry, I didn't give you more warning. So you all donated to reach the cutscene incentive, so we get to actually watch what happens. Woo!
seeing the unknown from Pokemon.
That is basically what it is, isn't it? Thanks for the GGs, everybody. Yeah, we showed the master who was boss. Poor Trico, really not doing well.
Poor Trico.
So I think the consensus on what's happening here is the master was mind controlling them, right? That's what all those waves through the air were that were resonating with their horns. And so when the master exploded, the trauma of having that link shattered injured all of the other Tricos, you know, kind of like fried their brains. And that's why they were all falling down. Except for our Trico, because he doesn't listen to the master anymore, because at the very beginning of the game, his horns were broken. So his connection to the master was broken too. This is the sarcophagus where we got the mirror at the beginning of the game. Again, interesting to note that it's broken into 16 parts and exists in a room with a pool that's basically exactly the same as the one in Shadow of the Colossus. We don't really know what that means, but...
So is this like one really eventful afternoon?
Right?
Or
Best I can figure, it's about 2 days. Possibly 3. Because sometimes it's hard to tell exactly how long the boy has been unconscious. But we know that there's at least a sunset and sunrise.
Trico's putting a lot of faith into the clothes and fabric made by some random shitball village.
Yeah. So down here we have the other Trico that we fought. Remember we threw a minecart onto her head and it broke one of her horns. So she also doesn't have the connection to the master anymore. And presumably that's why she's also okay. So yeah, we get maunched again. That just seems to be how he prefers to carry people around, you know?
I was gonna say maybe we're just in his mouth until I saw him do the throat shimmy. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, we're all the way in there.
Aw, the feathers. That's really cool looking.
For all the more feathers that he loses, you'd think he'd be bald.
Isn't there something like the average person with long hair loses like 30 hairs a day?
Right? It's crazy. Still needs to work on his landings.
That's what baby monitors are for. You'll know if something important happens.
So the gameplay actually isn't done, even though timing has stopped. We just don't include this bit of gameplay in most categories. Some categories we do. So he barfed me up this time. He's kind of smoking from the nose a little bit. There are no barrel pieces around me. Like, he really doesn't have anything else in him except for me. If you don't input, eventually it'll just proceed, but it takes like a long time. So Trico's here. He's upset, you know, his eyes have changed color again. And they're back there throwing spears at him. And so the last input of the game is me saying, Trico, go away. Trico, go and leave.
Really sad ending.
It's so sad. And especially, you know, he says, I doubt it has long to live. And it's like, why you do that? Why you do that to me? Even, like, I've run this game, obviously, hundreds and hundreds of times as a speedrunner. And if I actually pay full attention to what's happening, I'm like, no, I can't do this. But don't leave. Don't leave. There's more. There's more. We just have to get to it real quick. Long load. So we've still got this bit. This is the mirror, which we use to summon Trico's lightning. The game is trying to trick you into thinking that you're going back to the title screen, because this is what the title screen looks like here in just a second. But in fact, we let it go for just a little bit after it wants you to think that it's the title screen. They'll get a little bit more. So this is what the title screen looks like. So most people are just going to turn off their console, right? So if you couldn't tell, that's me, the boy, grown up. I don't have tattoos on my face. That happened on Tuesday as well. The tattoos are variable from run to run. If I had done worse in the armor fights, I would have had more tattoos and they would have been visible on my face. So we found the mirror again. That got barfed up with me all those years ago when Trico dropped me off. It's man, not boy.
Looks like Squidward's snowball fort in SpongeBob.
So we're taking a dive here. This is inside the cave where we solved the first couple puzzles with Trico. That was when he jumped down into the water for the first time. Up here is where we blasted the wall with his lightning for the first time. So this is the very beginning of the game where we started off with Trico, and obviously this is the room where he was chained up at the beginning. Listen closely. If you listen real carefully, you can hear and see a little bit, not only Trico, but a little baby Trico as well, off to the left. So that's the last Guardian. That's any %. Thank you so much, everybody, for fulfilling the cutscene incentive. It was worth it, wasn't it? Tell me it wasn't worth it. Like, come on.
It was 100% worth it. We had one last donation for $5. It says, I miss Trico, from Anonymous. Thank you to everybody that got those donations in. Sable, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch at SableDragonRook, on Twitter as SableDragonRook, on Instagram as SableDragonRook. You get the point. Most places you can find me at SableDragonRook, except for Instagram isn't me. It's all the reptiles, which maybe might be even better. So there's that. But thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for the donations, and thanks, SpeedDocs, for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't go touching that dial, everybody. We're going to take a quick pause, pay some bills, keep the lights on. When we come back, we'll be setting up for our next speedrun in weekend 2, day 4, which is Fable Anniversary. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be very exciting.